Looking live at Q Stadium here on beautiful Vancouver Island, and today we've got a five-star matchup for you between two of the best teams the BCFC has to offer. Hello everybody, I'm Noah Atnikov, back for another season alongside my color commentator Cole McGarvey. Cole, it's a great feeling when you get your contracts renewed for another season in the broadcast booth, isn't it, buddy?
You're darn right it is, buddy. We're back. Football season is here in the Harbor City in week one between the Okanagan Sun and VI Raiders. Should be a treat.
It's a tremendous matchup today between the two teams that most people have picked for the top of the conference this year. For the Okanagan Sun, this is the year after year expectation, but for the VI Raiders, who could have predicted that just 2 years removed from that disastrous 0-10 season, they would be sitting here as one of the preseason favorites to win the British Columbia Football Conference. A lot of credit has got to go to the stability that head coach Sean Arabsky has brought to the program since taking over, eh, Cole?
Yeah, you can't speak enough about what Sean's done here in the last few years. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a worse situation for a first-time head coach to be thrown into, and it's been a remarkable turnaround the first few years, but I know they're not satisfied and they're looking for more this year.
There were significant changes to the rest of the Raiders coaching staff in the offseason with the departure of Raiders legend Jake LeBerge. Chris Ashman will now take on the role of offensive coordinator. What can you tell us about Ashman's coaching career, and what have you seen from Ashman and his offense thus far in training camp, Cole?
Yeah, he's a Saskatchewan product, has a little bit of time in the Saskatchewan high school program system. Obviously spent some time with the Regina Thunder, so he has that CJFL experience as well. And I think the biggest thing as well is speaking with Andrew Harris, CFL legend, obviously VI Raiders legend as well. He kind of gave him that stamp of approval. He's excited for Chris Ashman to take over, so I'm excited as well.
The Sun bring back their outstanding quarterback Liam Kroger, but the Raiders have a new opening day starter in Dylan Marino, the JUCO product from California. What have you seen from Marino in training camp, Cole? Give us the scouting report.
Yeah, I like it. I like it that he's not he doesn't come in like a true rookie, right? You could sense that poise to his game, the confidence to his game. So I'm excited to see when his natural instincts take over here today, when the games and the bullet starts flying, and excited to see Dylan lead the offense this year.
One of the Suns' biggest acquisitions in the offseason was the addition of wide receiver Colton Meikle. Meikle coming over from the Kamloops Broncos, a really good player who was stuck on a lot of bad football teams throughout his CJFL career. He spent time in BC Lions training camp this offseason. What does he bring to the table for the Okanagan Sun?
Yeah, he's a very unique player in the CJFL system. A 6-year CJFL product now going into this season. I believe playing his first seasons in the CJFL at 16 years of age, Noah. So a guy that's been young and developing in the CJFL, and not only was he at the BC Lions this past training camp, he's been with the BC Lions for the past, I believe, 3 off seasons. So a guy that's a developmental project, and they're hoping to see him flourish with the Okanagan Sun this year.
The other big get for Okanagan this offseason was running back Jackson Allen, who comes to the team after spending last season with the UBC Thunderbirds. Cole, I know this is a guy that the Raiders are going to have a plan for. Allen comes very highly touted, and he is a big-timer, isn't he? Yeah,
as a CJFL fan, I'm excited to see him play here today. Honestly excited for what the Raiders' game plan is to stop not only Allen, but all the weapons in the Sun offense.
As we previously mentioned, Cole, the Raiders' turnaround was led by head coach Sean Arabsky, and he will take on more responsibility this year with the departure of special teams coordinator Tarek Bryan. Arabsky will now serve as the head coach, the defensive coordinator, and the special teams coordinator. It's a lot of duties for one guy, isn't it, Cole?
Yeah, it is a lot of duties, Noah. I think that's going to be one thing to monitor throughout the year, right? I think from a head coach, defensive coordinator perspective, when you get some of those stops on second down and the defense is coming off the field and you want to start to make some of your adjustments or get some communication with your unit, as a special teams coordinator, you can't, right? You're having to worry about what's going on your special teams unit, so it'll be something to monitor. And I know Sean has placed a little bit of responsibility in coaching assistant Chris Soto, so I think he'll be taking some of those responsibilities as well, and hopefully taking some stress off Sean's plate.
The Raiders have won the toss. They will get the football first here in Nanaimo. As the players head to their respective benches, the horseshoe forms near the Raiders bench. We got the Raiders on our sideline this year, Cole. It's a nice treat from having both teams on the opposite side last year.
Absolutely, and speaking about the Raiders being on our sideline, Noah, we're in some new digs this year, a new broadcast booth, so shout out to the city of Nanaimo for treating us well. It's nice that we are much closer to the field, and we're much more centralized as well, right at the 55-yard line.
It's a beautiful new facility here in Nanaimo. Q Stadium has gotten a massive upgrade, and it's probably in large part due to the success that the Raiders had last season. In just 2 years, Cole, they have completely turned this team around. They were 0-10 a couple years ago. They lost 94-0 to the West Shore Rebels, and now you look up, the Raiders are a playoff team last year, and they are looking to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, they're not satisfied, right? They are happy with the turnaround. They're happy with some of the successes, but I know speaking with Sean, the standard is the standard, right? They want to win championships. They don't want to just be happy with getting into the playoffs. So I know this year they'll be hungry for more. They'll be hungry to host a playoff game, and they'll be hungry to go deep.
It should be an excellent football game here in Nanaimo. It's, as previously mentioned, the two teams that most of the experts have picked for the top of the BCFC this year. And it is number 22, Grady Hay, to kick it off for the Sun. He is the kicker and punter for the Sun. Back deep to return, Gavin Whittingham and Cooper Mann. And this will be Mann from the 10-yard line. Mann cutting across to the left. Got some space, and Mann takes the ball out to the 24-yard line, and this crowd gets into it early, Cole. And here comes Dylan Marino. The Los Angeles, California native had 45 total touchdowns and over 4,000 total yards in just 16 starts at Santa Monica College down in the United States. He is a true dual-threat quarterback, and he is making his debut tonight as the Raiders' starting quarterback. So welcome to Canada, Dylan Marino. And they're going to put him in the shotgun on first down from his own 24-yard line. Celso has moved to the field receiver this year at the bottom of your screen. Snap to goal out. It's a screen out here, and it is dropped by Joey Foote. The starting lineups presented by Harris Mazda. The receiving core consists of Blaze McCarty, Parker Moskrip, Jacob Celso, Joey Foote, and the big offseason signing Morgan McCubbin. The offensive line is anchored by second-year standout left tackle Ty Teal, Caden Exner, Ryan Danielson, Dax Howery, and the leader on that group is the fifth-year center Jake Giokis. And in the backfield, expect to see both Gavin Whittingham and Cooper Mann get touches. Here is Dylan Marino in a shotgun formation on second down and 10 after the drop by Joey Foote on first down. He's going to give it inside, and the tackle is made after a short gain of 3.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Raiders offense, they're going to come off the field very quick. I like the idea on first down there. It's just unfortunately they were unable to execute, and they're going to turn things over to Okanagan Sun here early on.
The Sun getting a quick 2-and-out, and the Raiders will have to punt this football here on third down and 7.
Those are things that the Raiders offense can't afford to have here today. Little mistakes like that are going to kill you versus Okanagan Sun, who will take advantage.
What do you think about the run play there on second and 10, Cole? You like it?
Yeah, I think after the first play, you kind of get a drop, maybe wanted to settle in on the nerves a little bit. I think everyone's a little bit fired up, so we'll see what happens here on the return. Hopefully the coverage unit's able to get downfield and tackle.
Sometimes better to start on defense in football with all the emotions. Sometimes you just want to go out there and hit someone rather than try and execute. So that'll bring out Liam Kroger, and he was the best quarterback in the BCFs here last year. He had 3,279 passing yards. That was good for first in the conference. He had 29 passing touchdowns. That was good for first in the conference. A 67% completion percentage, and he was the CJFL passing leader. And maybe his most impressive stat, that 13-1 record with the only loss, Cole, coming in the national championship game. I'm sure the Sun want to right the wrongs of last year and finish the job this year. They're going to give it on first down to Allen, and he breaks a couple Raiders tackles, and he's down the left sideline. Here goes Allen inside the 45 and taken down there by a Raider, and it's a big start for the big-timer Jackson Allen.
Yeah, what a player there. Jackson Allen breaking multiple tackles, running through the weak tackle attempts, so the Raiders are going to want to shear that up, but this is the guy who was, billed as focus, right?
I have a friend on the UBC Thunderbirds, Kai Rednor Bruckman, and I talked to him in the offseason. I said, give me the scouting report on Allen. He said, Noah, you have no idea what you're in store for. This guy is an absolute beast. Here's Kroger in the shotgun on first down from his 40-yard line, and he'll give it to Allen again. They're coming right up the middle against the Raiders, and a nice tackle made by Tell and Max Shipham in on that one, Cole.
Nice response from the Raiders defense there. Going to set them up in a second and long. And this is where the Raiders defense wants them, right? I think Sean will start to mix in some of those pressures now on second and long. Try to make Kruger beat him deep. So let's see what we got here on second down.
So the Sun facing their first, second, and long of the game. And they are not a traditional drop-back football team, Cole. They want to run the football and get the ball out of his hands quickly. This VI Raiders pass rush is a good one. It'll be interesting to see if the offensive line of the Sun can hold up. Kruger in the shotgun, snap, play fake, and he throws to the right. It's complete, and a nice tackle made over there. Was that Sterling Henry, Cole?
I believe that was Sterling Henry and Caleb Thiessen on the tackle there. I believe Colton Meikle, the Okanagan Sun receiver. And it looks like the offense may stay on the field here. Maybe Travis Miller wanted to get some yards and understanding that they're kind of in that fringe field goal range.
3rd down and about 4. And the Sun are going to go for it early in the game. Is that an indication that they don't trust their kicker, or is that an indication that they just trust their offense so much to pick up 4? Raiders show a 3-man rush, but here come the creepers late. Wisdom's coming off the left side. They throw over the middle, and it's incomplete. And a late penalty flag from the referee all the way in the end zone comes in, Cole.
Yeah, I hope we get a replay on that one. I think he tugged the shoulder pad, and I think that's what they're going to call. Did look like a bang-bang play off the live, seeing it live. Let's see if we can get a replay here. It looked to be pretty close.
Kind of a bang-bang play. You'd like to see the referees keep that flag in their back pocket early in the game, but it looks like it is going to go against the Raiders. And it is going to be a pass interference call here that will set the Sun up with a 1st down inside the 20 of the VI Raiders.
Tough one for Caleb Thiessen. I know Coach Sean will want him to continue to be aggressive and continue to try to use his instincts and jump in these balls. So keep it up and just got to be timing up a little bit better.
Kruger in the shotgun, 1st down and 10, 2 men in the backfield. Meikle is the first one through, and here comes Jackson Allen off the right side, and he is tackled there by Aiden Bytel. Cole, very important when the secondary gets in on the tackling.
Yeah, absolutely. AB's been very active here early on. I want to say he's got about 2 or 3 tackles here on the first Okanagan Sun drive, so AB up to his usual AB things. This will be huge if the VI Raiders defense is able to find a way to hold the Sun to a field goal. Absolutely in Grady Hayes field goal range now.
2nd down and about 4 for the Sun. This is a very interesting formation. 3 running backs in the backfield with Kruger. And the Raiders are in that heavy set. They look like they're coming with pressure. They're going to run off the right side, and he's got the 1st down. That is number 18, Marcus Christos. And Cole, you talked about it to me before the game. He is the designated short yardage quarterback.
Yeah, and the Okanagan Sun absolutely weaponized Christos last year. He was, I want to say, up near the top of the conference for rushing touchdowns all last season, double digits in that category. So a weapon that the VI Raiders defense will have to pay attention to, especially down around the goal line.
And you get a stoppage of play here, and the Raiders, probably good for them. They're going to need a breather. Okanagan is driving, Cole, on the opening drive of the football game.
Yeah, got to make some adjustments here if you're Sean Arabsky in the defense. But it is early on. I think this group will settle in similar to the offense, right? Maybe showing a little bit of nerves early on. First drive of the season. As I said, it's going to be a massive 2nd and goal here from what looks to be the 4-yard line.
As the referee blows the clock once again this year, Cole, we do not have the time clock working in the end zone. Here's the snap. They're going to run off the left side, breaking a tackle, and in for the touchdown is Marcus Christos. We do have penalty flags down.
I wonder if the Raiders maybe lined up off sides. It is the back judge, so maybe too many men potentially there.
I'm thinking too many men. When the penalty comes from all the way in the back corner of the end zone there, that's usually in the vicinity of too many men. We'll wait to check on the call. As I told you last season, Cole, I take pride in my ability to know the signals. And the beauty is, I think this year, Cole, we're going to get the referee looking in our direction. It is too many men, but it's on the Raiders, and so the Sun will decline the penalty and take the touchdown. And the Okanagan Sun have taken an early 6-0 lead.
Yeah, a very clean opening drive from Coach Miller, head coach and offense coordinator for the Sun. That group's very, they've been together for a while. You heard Coach Miller pregame talk about how long he's been with Kruger at quarterback. You have an assistant on the offensive staff, like a guy like Coach McCarty. They're ready to go on the opening drive.
Grady Hay boots the extra point through, and the Sun have a 7-0 lead over the VI Raiders early in this one. The season opener here at Q Stadium here in Nanaimo. And what a beautiful day we have here today, Cole. You can't ask for much better football weather than this.
Yeah, I woke up knowing I was a little nervous. I looked outside, and it was a little bit cloudy. It started kind of raining a little bit. I was like, darn, I hope we don't get a rain game. And the clouds have parted. The blue skies have came, and it is nice. It's cooler, which I think is nice, not only for us, but for the players on the field probably as well.
Really can't ask for much better football weather than this. You got a light breeze, nice breeze in the background, blue skies. It is sunny here. It looks like football weather to me, my friend. And back deep to return once again. You're going to see this for much of the season. Gavin Whittingham and Cooper Mann. Here is the return by Cooper Mann down the left sideline, and he's got something here all the way to the 37-yard line. But, Cole, you've noticed that Joey Foote looks like he's injured.
He is. That's a huge offseason addition that the Raiders were very excited to use as a two-way player, not only on offense but defense as well, lining up in the slot and at receiver. He is in the blue medical tent for the Raiders, or the makeshift one. You could say maybe the green one.
The Wildwood Hells tent.
Yeah. And he looks to be maybe an upper body. We'll try to monitor that situation. But Cooper Mann, I think on a positive note, 2 nice returns to set up the Raiders in favorable field position. He's going to stay out on the field with their kind of 2-back tandem they like with Whittingham and Cooper.
Oh, and not a good look here. It looks
too many men.
Yeah, we got too many men. Unless it's a delay of game, Cole.
No, they have 6 receivers and 1 running back.
Oh, man. And Cole, maybe to do with the loss of Joey Foote, maybe just a little bit of confusion with the packages and the substitutions there.
Yeah, most definitely confusion with the packages there. You have to worry about the substitution for Joey Foote. And it looks like it was maybe at the running back spot. Yeah. Whittingham's going to come out. Cooper Mann's going to go into the game. I am excited to see the VI Raiders utilize both of them. They were billed as 2 big offseason additions. Whittingham coming from the Regina Rams, and Cooper Mann with some CJFL experience. He was a 2024 Rookie of the Year for the Quinton Skyhawks.
Foote looks like he is getting checked out pretty heavily on that sideline of the Raiders, so not a good look. And here's Dylan Marino throwing, and he's able to complete it to the left there, and that's Blaze McCarty, and he's got a gain of about, that looks like a very short gain, about 3 yards there.
Just wanted to get a completion there on 1st and long for the Raiders. It's going to set them up, and it looks to be about 2nd and 8, so don't hate the call. Get a little bit of chunk, Noah. Set themselves in a much better manageable second down situation.
That's my bad, Cole. They were 1st and 15. It was a gain of about 8. The stick 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. It confused me there. 2nd down and 8. Here's Marino in the gun. He takes a snap. There's pressure. Marino gets out of there. He's on the run. He's chased by a few Sun. He's lost his helmet, and he is short of the 1st down. And Dylan Marino got hit hard there.
Yeah, he bounces right back up, though. Looks to be all right. So, as we talked about last year, Noah, sometimes you need that first hit to kind of settle yourself in the game. Hey, it's all good. We played football before. Let's get back to what we're capable of. So, the Raiders' offense is going to have to make some adjustments. They're getting some yardages, but it feels like they're pulling teeth here early on.
Zach Suter is the punter this year with the departure of Cole McQueen, and Suter stands back at around his 20-yard line and awaits the snap from Max Shipham. Shipham out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. He is a linebacker and handles the long snapping duties, and it's a short kick. It's going to bounce around at the 51-yard line, and the referees blow this one dead, probably for safety reasons.
Yeah, it wasn't a great kick. The Sun are going to take over, looks like at their own 53-yard line, 52-yard line, depending on the spot here. So Raiders defense going to have to get a big-time stop here.
This defense was the lifeblood of the Raiders last year. They carried this football team when their offense was really going through it at certain points of the season. So we'll see if the defense can get a stop here and get the ball back to Dylan Marino in the offense. Kruger in the shotgun, 1st down from his 53-yard line as the crowd gets into it. Kruger fakes the handoff, drops straight back to throw, deep down the right side, and the catch is made, and that's number 3. That is Devontae Mosey, and Cole, he is a guy that you have loved and are keeping an eye on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'll be in the running for one of the best players in the conference, maybe one of the best players in the country. So the Sun have the luxury of always having a great recruiting class, and he's one of the talented recruits that they got this offseason.
I looked at Mosey down on the field when we were standing down there pregame. He has got an NFL body, Cole. He looks like Justin Jefferson out there, long, and he looks very athletic. Big, strong receiver. Just another get for the Okanagan Sun. First down at the 30-yard line. Shotgun snap to Kruger. He gives it up the middle, and Jackson Allen is carrying Raiders with him for a gain of about 6.
It has to start on first down for the Raiders defense. They have to start getting some stops here and can't allow the Sun to set themselves in manageable situations.
The Raiders subbing in Connor Baker on that defensive line, number 97. And it is a second down and medium for the Sun. Mosey is the wideout to the boundary. Shotgun snap to Kruger. He looks. He's going to go deep for Meikle down the right side, and there is obvious contact, and the call is made, and it will be a pass interference on the Raiders. They were looking for Colton Meikle deep down the right sideline, and the Raiders are going to get tagged for the call. That's number 30 back there, Cole, but he's listed on our roster sheet as Burke Bartko, so that is a running back for the Raiders. Something tells me he's not playing defensive back there.
I want to say that's Ashman, I think. Unfortunately, the Raiders had a little adversity pregame. They had some missing jerseys, so some shuffling of the numbers and having to roll with some replacement numbers, but I do believe that is Ashman wearing number 30. I think Rempel on the near sideline.
Sun first down at the 14-yard line. Mosey is the wideout in the boundary. They motion Colton Meikle out there. They play fake. They're going to throw it to Meikle. He's got the catch. He stiff arms the defender, and the Raiders are going to have to make a tackle here. They do bring him down at around the 3-yard line.
I believe actually 30 is Spencer Rempel, and I think Ashman's in the boundary half there as well in the white sleeves. So apologies, folks. We will try to get that corrected at halftime. But I believe that's Ashman in 30.
So the Sun moving this football once again. You got a player on a knee down, and the training staff will come out for the Sun. So an interesting start to this game, Cole. The Raiders, a couple 2-and-outs on offense. The Sun moving this ball at will on the Raiders defense. The Sun offense, they look like they haven't missed a beat from last year.
Yeah, and they had three pretty significant weapons departure in the offseason. When you look at a Jaron Hardesty at running back, Jordan Falconer leaving for the Calgary Colts, and they're able to replace and hit the ground running here in week 1.
Spencer Rempel, we're assuming he's number 30 for the Raiders, Cole. They have been going after him early and often.
Yeah, and Ashman's in 20.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Apologies, folks.
Rempel's got a tough assignment today. He's in the boundary there, and he is covering not only Colton Meikle, but this Mosey kid looks like the real deal for the Sun, Cole.
Yeah, I didn't catch the number of the Okanagan Sun player that's down, but it looks like an offensive lineman. Update on VI Raiders receiver safety Joey Foote. Looks to be an upper body as he's in a makeshift sling and has some ice on his shoulder, so we will try to monitor that situation, but it looks like he'll be done for at least today.
As a BC Lions fan, Cole, I'm sure you don't like seeing anybody in a sling, especially after what happened last night.
Yeah, too soon. And, the Nathan Rourke was hopefully positive. It seems like it's not too long, but hopefully Joey's able to return soon.
Kruger in a shotgun at the 3-yard line. He's going to give it to Jackson Allen, and Allen carries Raiders defenders, and he is in for the touchdown, and the Sun have jumped out to a 13-0 lead here in Nanaimo.
Yeah, the Raiders are going to have to wake up here. The Sun have come out and thrown the first punch, thrown the first haymaker this football game.
The referee gives us the signal there. The touchdown is good. We got another player down for the Sun here. That's 2 in the first quarter that have gone down for Okanagan. And Cole, for a second here, talk about Grady Hay, the kicker and punter for the Okanagan Sun. I believe the Wiz had him pegged as the second best special teamer in the country.
Yeah, well, the Okanagan Sun are the Okanagan Sun. They always have a luxury of having so many talented players. They've had the luxury to not only have a kicker and punter the last few years. They had, I believe, Liam Atwood and Grady Hay over the last few years who have kind of both handled those duties. Liam moving on, I believe he was in his fifth year season last season. Grady taking over both those responsibilities. I think Grady will step up and be one of those, those special teams players that adds a huge element to the Okanagan Suns offense because, as talented as they are and as many touchdowns they're going to put up for the occasions that they don't put up touchdown drives, Grady Hay has a pretty reasonable field goal range and definitely one of the better ones across the country.
No doubt about it. Hay is a really good player, and the Wizard, if you know him on Instagram, I'm sure a lot of these players do, he's got him as the second best special teamer in the country, and here is the aforementioned Grady Hay in to attempt the extra point. It's put down, and Hay makes no mistake, and the Okanagan Sun have a 14-0 lead over the VI Raiders.
Seven minutes left in the opening quarter. Still very early on here, Noah. I think this Raiders team showing a little bit of nerves here, trying to settle in. I expect their defense to settle in, but how does this offense respond, right? A lot of changes on that side of the football, right? New offensive coordinator, new quarterback. They got to get on the same page here and hopefully start to see some drives start to go their way.
I talked to Chris Ashman before the season, Cole, and I asked him, how much of the terminology did you keep the same? He said, not much. We changed a lot of terminology, and for these players who are in the same system with Jake LeBears for 2 years, Cole, how hard is learning a new system as a guy who played quarterback in this conference?
Yeah, it's super difficult. I mean, I never had to go through something like that. I stayed in the same system my entire Raiders career. Small changes from offseason to offseason where, some plays were totally eliminated, new plays were put in, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was a lot of the same terminology, a lot of the same run scheme and stuff like that. Some tweaks here and there, like I said, but never having to go through that. I know it is difficult from everybody that I have talked to.
Here's Gavin Whittingham on the return on the short kickoff, and he takes the ball out to the 33-yard line. And that's where Marino and the offense will go to work. And, Cole, they got to get going here.
I think the Raiders, number 88, might have just took a penalty. Unfortunately, I think is that
Trayson Paris?
Yeah, it's Trey P, I believe. I think the referee kind of seen the second guy coming into the pile there. It looked like both guys were battling on special teams. Trey kind of responded late, and I think the referee caught that one. Coach Rapsey's not too happy.
No, Sean is not happy right now. He's more animated than you'll see him most of the time. So the Raiders about to get some decent field position. They have squandered that after the personal foul, and it will back them up to their own 19-yard line. So a long way to go on this 110-yard field.
Yeah, through the opening quarter, that was about the only positive here, was the special teams was setting them up into pretty good field position. They take the penalty there and back themselves up deeper into their own territory.
Marino in the gun. And he's going to give it to Whittingham off the left side, and there is nowhere to run for Whittingham. He's swallowed up by a couple Okanagan Sun defenders. Talk about the running back room, Cole. With the departure of Rondé Lyle and Parker Wills, this is a very different-looking backfield for the VI Raiders with Whittingham and Mann, who we expect to split carries for the Raiders.
Yeah, very deep room. I think the Raiders have a lot of confidence in not only the first two backs, but maybe the 3-4 back on the roster as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize all of them.
Short gain on first down, 2nd and 9. Marino straight back to throw. He's going deep. Got a man wide open, and it's caught. It's Morgan McCubbin at the 50. The race is on. McCubbin to the 30. McCubbin to the 20. McCubbin caught from behind at the 9-yard line. What a throw by Dylan Marino. Deep ball, Dylan, right on the money to Morgan McCubbin. And the big offseason acquisition for the Raiders, Morgan McCubbin making an immediate impact for the Raiders, Cole.
Yeah, perfect time there for Morgan McCubbin to make a play. The huge offseason addition from the University of Guelph. The Raiders were excited to use him. Looked like they caught Glenn Kaduya sleeping on that sideline. Morgan able to sneak behind him for the deep ball, and the Raiders are set up in business now inside the 10.
Raiders at the 9-yard line. First down and goal after the big play. Dylan Marino right on the money to Morgan McCudden. And the Raiders with the exact response that you were looking for. First down and goal. We get whistles blown by the referees here.
Looks like Coach Miller, I believe, took a timeout for the Okanagan Sun, wanting to adjust. He looks like he's not happy with Glenn Kaduya, as I mentioned. Oh, no, actually, looks like he's actually trying to build him up over there on that sideline. But another of note, looks like Cooper Mann's going to take some reps there in the slot. With the absence of Joey Foote, maybe look to weaponize Cooper Mann in the slot a bit more.
Yep. Big catch there by Morgan McCudden. It's a huge gain for the Raiders. 82 yards. And Dylan Marino, welcome to Canada.
That's exactly what you want to see from Dylan, right? Maybe a little bit of nerves here early on. Never played the Canadian game. All you need, like I said, maybe is that first hit, that first deep ball. Hey, let's settle in. I've done this a million times.
So we get a stoppage in play here. And Marino looks for the calls from the sideline. Cole, do you know if they're using the headset system this year?
They are. I saw Dylan looking up pregame. He was trying to test whether it was working or not. From everything I did see defensively, it looks like the defensive mic is working for Sean, and I believe the green dot's Aiden Bytel. So hopefully for Dylan and the offense, it's working for them as well. And this is one where we saw last year, right? Too many times they didn't come away with touchdowns. They have to come away with 6 here.
What do you think, Cole? First down and goal at the 9-yard line. I'm thinking pass.
Here we go.
They're going to fake. They're going to roll Marino to the right, and he's caught there by a couple Okanagan Sun.
I'm not too sure if it was...
Mitch Hickingbottom was in on that one, number 44, Cole.
Yeah, Mitch Hickenbottom's a veteran in this league, made a huge play last year in the CJFL National Semifinal for the Sun. He'll be in the rotation once again, looking for a big year. But that was one that looked like, I don't know if it was a true read option and kind of a naked on the backside. It didn't look like he had any receivers running routes, so he just, I think, truly pulled that and was by himself on that one.
Yeah, just a true read option from the quarterback there. Second down and goal at the 10. Marino in the gun. 2 receivers top of the screen, 3 to the bottom. Shotgun snap to Marino. He looks. He's going to the corner. And it is overthrown. It looked like the receiver wasn't really on the same page, Cole, but we do have a penalty flag down.
I believe it's going to be roughing the passer. It is on the Okanagan Sun. This is going to set them up with first and goal, fresh set of downs. Unfortunately, it's a bummer that, just mentioned Cooper Mann coming into the game to play slot. Looked like he wanted to run looked like Dylan wanted to run him the corner route. He kind of turned around the wrong shoulder.
Yeah.
Dylan actually put a pretty catchable ball out there, and I think Cooper was just a little bit not on the same page there.
Yeah, looked like a good ball for Marino. Nice air on it, gave his receiver time to adjust. But, man, a traditional running back by title looked a little out of sorts there at his receiver spot. So first down and goal at the 1-yard line. The foul occurred in the end zone. It'll put the ball at the 1-yard line by rule. And Marino, interestingly enough, Cole, he's in the shotgun here from the 1-yard line. Mosgrip is in motion. They give it to Whittingham. And they got a touchdown call, but we do have markers down. Cole, as a guy who's watched Canadian football for a long time, I'm guessing this was the Sun lined up in the neutral zone. Coach Mike O'Shea for the Bombers always talks about the importance of lining up with your hand on the goal line. It is a touchdown, and the Raiders have narrowed the deficit. It is now 14-6. A great response by the Raiders there, Cole.
Big time response from the VI Raiders there. You can sense the confidence on their sideline now. Still early on here in the football game. 4:11 left in the first quarter. That was exactly the response the Raiders needed. And hopefully the defense is able to build on it.
We don't have the number for the kicker, Cole, but he's in there to attempt the extra point. He's number 79 on the field. He is not listed on our roster sheet. And the ball will be put down, and the kick is good. And the Raiders have narrowed the deficit to 7. A tremendous response from Dylan Marino in the offense there, Cole.
I believe it was Agent 87 last year. We're going to have to come up with Agent 79 or something like that.
Agent 79 for the VI Raiders, able to boot the extra point through. The mystery man for the VI Raiders, as we get a little deja vu of last year, Cole. So a good response by the Raiders. That is exactly what you wanted to see. Cole, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the Raiders played the Sun last year down in the Apple Bowl, they got shut out, didn't they?
They did, yes. That was early on in the season. Once again, I want to say week 2 or 3. So once again, right, early on in the season, you got to get that early measuring stick, right, to kind of compare where you're going to be with the class of the conference. The Raiders here early on showing that response, showing that resilience, which is huge.
So it'll be Sterling Henry to handle the kickoff duties. He's got the strongest leg on the team. And he puts the ball down at the 45-yard line. That's where you kick off in junior football. A little different than the CFL, with the kickers not having quite as strong of a leg as the CFL, obviously. Sterling Henry puts his hand up. We're all good to go. And he will kick it off here. It's a short kick, and it's going to be taken there by the Sun. Down the right side, and they got a big one here on the Raiders, and they're out past the 40-yard line of the 42. You get a late penalty flag, and we'll see who that's going to be on.
I believe it was Colton Finstad. Just, you can't have stuff like that when the Sun have a great return out to the 45-yard line. It looks like it's going to tack on another 15 with the late hit out of bounds. The Sun are going to they're going to be set up on the Raiders side of the field here.
An undisciplined penalty there by the Raiders, and it was Finstad who shoved him into the mid-island towing sign there on the far side stands. Sun are going to have fantastic starting field position here inside the Raiders side of the field. And you see the coaches on the Raiders bench there saying, hey, settle down, guys. We don't need to be undisciplined and take those kind of penalties.
Yeah, not too worried about Colton. I think he'll settle in nicely, but that's something as the middle linebacker, right? You have to take accountability. You have to be that leader on the field, right, and step into that role.
The referee's just trying to figure out where this one's going to get spotted. There's some communication there by the head official and the Sun bench. Here comes the spot of the ball, and they are going to put it on the Raiders side of the field at the 53-yard line of the Raiders. First down, Okanagan. Kruger in the gun. 2 men in the backfield. And the first one through is Colton Meikle. They fake the give. They're going to take a shot down the left side. And, it's overthrown. Good coverage on the play, Cole, by the Raiders secondary.
Yeah, I believe it was Panabaker who was the intended receiver. Actually, it was a pretty decently thrown ball, and I think Panabaker kind of misjudged it turning around. You always hear, coaches say that if you're the receivers, don't stop running, don't turn around, right? Let the ball kind of drop into you and keep in stride. But, yeah, nice coverage there by Dylan Winters. Dylan Winters having to come into the lineup, but Joey Foote coming out of the lineup. AB going back to safety, Aiden Bytel. Dylan Winters coming in the game.
And unfortunately for the Raiders there, Cole, it looks like the defensive line was offside, so what should have been a 2nd down and 10 is a 1st down and 5 for the Sun. Kruger in the gun. 2 men in the backfield. They'll give it to Jackson Allen. And Allen is taken down after a gain of about 2. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 3. Cole, give me the little scouting report here on Liam Kruger. What did you see from him last year?
Yeah, I think he's a very poised quarterback. You obviously mentioned earlier the completion percentage, right? He tends to keep his offense on schedule. A lot of quick, easy passes from Coach Miller on the offense and their scheme. So I think Liam's going to keep his team on schedule and ahead of the change, and it's kind of the big plays and how many can he create on a game-to-game basis.
There's no shortage of weapons in that Okanagan receiving core with Meikle and Mosey. Kruger straight back down the middle, and it was almost intercepted in the Raiders secondary. Holy smokes, Cole.
Jackson Asherman, I believe, almost had a gift there. I just mentioned, the veteran side of Liam Kruger. He kind of stared that one down all the way. I believe that was number 9. The Coach Miller mentioned to us pregame. Chad Alexander was the intended receiver. Liam was looking at that seam route the whole way, and Jackson coming from his boundary half side tried to jump it and just is unable to hang on to that ball. That would have been a massive shift of momentum once again for the Raiders.
I'd love to see a replay there, Cole. They had the other slot running uncovered down the middle of the field, wide open. Kruger going into coverage there, and it's knocked down by Ashman. They're going to run the short yardage quarterback off the left side, and he's got the 1st down, and that is the previously mentioned Marcus Christos, and they love him in short yardage, Cole.
Yeah, I think, you can't say enough about Coach Miller's creativity, right? He's not afraid to bring in the backup short yardage quarterback and take off the all-star Liam Kruger, right, and kind of take those snaps away from Liam. When you have a guy like that, especially at the CJFL level, you want to give him as many snaps as you can, right? But they have so much confidence in Marcos, and he's able to, produce out there.
First down for the Sun. They convert a third down again. Shotgun snap to Kruger. He fakes the give to Allen and will take it off the left side and does a Superman dive for a gain of about 6. Good little read option action there, Cole. Ride in the fake and crash, so he's going to pull that ball, eh?
Yep, was able to pick up, looks like 6 or 7 yards. Very manageable situation here for the Sun. I'd expect some sort of pressure look here from the Raiders defense. Try to make Liam decide quick and get the ball out of his hands.
2nd down and 4. Here comes the blitz by the Raiders. They give it up the middle. Jackson Allen hurdles a defender and picks up the first down. He jumped right over Bytel there, Cole.
And it'll be first down for the Sun. It's so hard where you spend a lot of your focus on this Sun offense, right? How do you kind of focus on the Jackson Allen? But with all these weapons, the Panabakers and Moseys and Chad Alexander's now in this offense, it's really hard for defenses. It stresses them.
First down, Sun, inside the 30-yard line of the Raiders. Kruger in the gun. Raiders show a 4-man rush. That's all they're going to bring. There's trouble with the snap. Kruger in trouble, and they got him! Logan Quarring.
The 17-year-old defensive tackle with his first career sack. Shout out to Logan. He's been a guy that came onto the scene at spring camp. And speaking of coaches, they'll go as far as to say that he wrecked the scrimmage at times, right? He was making tremendous plays all spring camp scrimmage long. Impressed enough at main camp to earn a starting spot, and he's able to get on the stat sheet here early on. You love to see it, especially for a guy like a defensive tackle who tends to do a lot of the dirty work and they're not able to get on the stat sheet. You love to see him get a sack here early on.
I talked to head coach Sean Arabsky before the season. He raved about Logan Quarring. He thinks he has tremendous potential as a guy fresh out of high school. Kruger straight back to throw. Here comes the pressure. Kruger gets it away, and it's overthrown, and Kruger took a big shot in the pocket there, and was that Tanai Wisdom, Cole?
It was one of the best players in the conference this year. At least that should be the expectation for a guy like Wisdom. He was able to get in on Kruger and have the pressure there and force Liam to get rid of the ball probably a little bit quicker than he wanted to. But for tonight, that's what he has to do on a snap-to-snap basis, right? He has to be an impact player who's impacting the game from down to down.
If the Raiders are going to win this football game today, Tanai Wisdom is going to have to put his stamp of approval on the game. He's going to have to leave his mark on the Okanagan Sun. He is the best player on the VI Raiders. There's no doubt about it. He was ranked number 3 in the national rankings of all players in the league. And here is the punt by Grady Hay. Going towards the sideline. It'll go into the end zone. It's misplayed a little bit by Cooper Mann. He picks the ball up, and maybe a little bit of a mistake there, Cole. He's going to get tackled at the 1-yard line this early in the game. Probably like giving up the single there, Cole.
Yeah, the ball did kind of bounce almost back towards the original line of scrimmage. That is a tough one for Cooper Mann.
And tough, obviously Sean handling not only defensive duties but special teams duties. That's one maybe you tell him, hey, if you're not sure if you can get this thing to the 15, just give up the single and we'll start at the 40-yard line.
And there's an Okanagan Sun player who's down on the field. Can't catch if that's number 28 or 26 for the Sun. Could be Ethan Bilo, number 26, or Matt Chapman.
So we are going to flip ends here. We have reached the end of the first quarter. A very interesting start to this one, Cole, with both offenses having fireworks early on. The Sun putting on full display their big addition, Jackson Allen. But the Raiders, Cole, after a couple 2-and-outs, Dylan Marino settling in here, the deep ball strike to Morgan McCubbin.
Yeah, felt like a little bit of an anxious start from the VI Raiders squad, but I think that's okay, right? Probably to be expected in week number 1 of a new group of, there was a lot of returning faces, but quite a few new pieces dropped into this team and looking to play big roles for them, right? So some guys might be looking to build some chemistry, looking to settle in. I think they showed that they did over the course of that first quarter, and now this is really where you want to start to turn it up a notch now and start to get some momentum here.
Blaze McCarty has moved to the slot on the field side here. Oh, no. Yeah, he is. He's a slot on the field side here. Interesting adjustment by the Raiders. They're going to give it off the right side to Cooper Mann, and that Sun defensive line, as advertised, Cole, they are pretty stout.
Yeah, they are year after year. You know, talk about their front, you talk about their secondary, their linebackers, but it all starts up front for that Shane Beatty-led defense. Similar to Sean Rapps, they like to send a lot of pressures, but they can also get some of that naturally organic pressure with just four-man rush.
Pretty nice when you don't have to blitz all the time. You can have more guys back in coverage. With a defensive line, we talked to Beatty before the game, or we talked to the head coach Travis Miller before the game. He said we're 8 deep at the defensive line, so it's going to be a handful for this Raiders offensive line. Dylan Marino in the shotgun, 2nd down and 10. Snap to Marino, back to pass, down the middle, wide open. He's got Blaze McCarty, and McCarty all the way out past the 45. First down, Raiders.
There we go, Dylan Marino. That was a dime right there. Like Blaze McCarty on just like a little bang post route. Dylan looking left, comes back to his right. Great play there from Dylan.
That was a seed by Marino. He just ripped that sucker down the middle. First down, Raiders at the 47-yard line. Dylan Marino, holy smokes, Cole. We haven't seen this much offense in the first half in a while. It's a little overwhelming for us as broadcasters. Marino, shotgun, first down. They're going to give it off the left side. And a good-looking run on first down, a gain of 5. That's Morgan Crisp, Cole, and he's a guy who played for the Comox Valley Raiders, and he made his way up here to the Raiders. He played for the Raiders a couple years ago, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I know the Raiders were super happy to get him a few years ago out of the Comox program. Took some time away from football, but coming back, and a part of this loaded backfield, our third back here through a quarter and a few minutes.
And he ran right over the linebacker of the Okanagan Sun. Morgan Crisp showing no fear, and he will stay in there on a 2nd down and 6. Marino in the gun, 5 receivers out. They get the snap, and they blow it dead.
Unabated to the
unabated to the quarterback. Absolutely. Good call there, Cole.
It's like Mitchell Hickenbottom. I think it was both ends, Hickenbottom and Sneed, that jumped offside.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 1 here, Cole. Now, the one thing I will tell you, the Raiders were 2nd down and 1 from the goal line all the way down there. Interestingly enough, they did not go with the quarterback sneak. Most teams in Canada, 1 yard to go, you're thinking QB sneak. Do the Raiders have a short yardage quarterback here?
They might not, and they might not be comfortable with it. 2nd down and short here, Noah. I'm curious to see with a first-time coordinator Coach Ashburn, this might be a good position. Maybe shot territory. Let's see if they just want to pick up the first down or what they do here on 2nd down.
2nd down and 1. They're going to give it back to Crisp. Crisp up the middle, and he's pulled down by his face mask, and that'll draw a flag. Big run by Morgan Crisp, and the Raiders are on the move, Cole.
Yeah, the Raiders offense is going to give me a little bit of the last chance U vibes with all the running backs that they have at their disposal, right? And it's kind of, ride the hot hand, right? You have these guys, the talented Gavin Whittingham. You have Cooper Mann with CJFL experience. And you have a Morgan Crisp who's coming in here.
He's been the most effective of the 3 of them so far.
He has indeed. I know they're comfortable with some of their other backups and a guy like Chris, Jack. I think those guys will play roles on special teams as well. So they have about 4 or 5 guys in that room who will look to be contributors this year.
The face mask penalty will tack on an extra 15 yards there, and the ball is inside the 30-yard line of the Okanagan Sun as Dylan Marino comes back into the huddle here after getting the play from first-year coordinator Chris Ashman, who is handling the play call duties this year, and he's calling a pretty good game so far. The Raiders have moved it pretty well. McCubbin, the boundary wide out of the bottom of your screen. Marino calls for the snap. He's got it. He'll give it to Morgan Crisp, and he stood up there. There were no blocks, and he's taken down by 5 different Okanagan Sun.
And that was Wes McFarlane, who's the first guy in there for the Sun. Another highly touted offseason addition. Actually originally committed to the Langley Rams. They went through all their coaching situation that they did in the offseason. Lost him to the Okanagan Sun eventually in the offseason. And I know Coach Beatty and that defense were super happy to drop him in. He's another guy that comes with CJFL experience, played with the London Beefeaters, award winner as well. I believe he was 2024, I want to say Defensive Rookie of the Year in the OFC.
2nd down and 11 after the loss on 1st down. Marino, 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen, 3 to the top. And we get whistles pre-snap, timeout, Okanagan. Very interesting, Cole. Travis Miller, that is 2 timeouts that he has burned in the first half. You think Travis Miller heard the good word in the offseason the Raiders were an up-and-coming team?
Yeah, I know he was probably intrigued to see where this Raiders team is going to stack up, right? Rewinding back to last season, when speaking and having conversation with this coaching staff, the players on the team, they were very confident going into the semifinal last year. I know things didn't go their way on the scoreboard and the Sun kind of flexed their muscles, but I think Travis Miller was pretty interested this year with how active the Raiders were in recruiting and some of the guys that they were able to bring in. Just how good was this Raiders team going to be able to be this year, and were they going to be able to stack up truly?
If the 2 timeouts early in this game are any indication by Miller, he knows that this is not a team you can take lightly. He wanted to get a look at what they were doing pre-snap there on a big 2nd down and 11. He knows the significance of this play, and he calls a timeout, gives his defensive coordinator, Shane Beatty, a chance to take a look at what the Raiders were putting out there on the field. And here we go. A big 2nd down and 11. You'd got to think they're out of field goal range, Cole. This should be 3-down territory for the Raiders if they don't get any closer here. Marino in the shotgun. Blaze McCarty to the bottom of your screen of the boundary. Sun jumped offside. Marino got to take a shot here. Nobody's going downfield, so he gets hit and fumbles. And that's one, Cole, if you're the receivers, got to be a little more alert. When you get the offside, run the go route and get open.
Yeah, I thought he did have a couple guys run down the field. He did have Morgan McCubbin, had Blaze McCarty. I think the snap was a little bit lower, and kind of I think you force your eyes to kind of take off from downfield, right? Pretty big development, though, if it is. I believe that's number 69, Ty Teal, starting left tackle for the Raiders coming out of the game. Looks like he's holding his shoulder. The Raiders are already kind of dealing with a little bit of adversity, right? Rocco Linklater already out of the starting lineup. They're starting, a couple of new faces on the right side with Ryan Danielson moving from, his tackle position to right guard.
And, Cole, they only have 4 offensive linemen out there right now. You correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it looks like they brought the sub in.
They did.
Like,
there we go. Good.
The number 65, I believe.
Yep. That is Carson Krenbrink playing left tackle now for the Raiders, and he's got a tough assignment against this Okanagan pass rush. 2nd down and 7. Marino in the gun. He's got time. He's going to run up the middle. Marino, he's got the 1st down. Nice run there by Dylan Marino. A lot better wheels than Dan Marino. He picks up the 1st down with his legs.
Yeah, awesome job there from Dylan. The pocket kind of naturally opened up for him. The seas parted, honestly, and I think he just saw all the green grass.
They always talk about it, Cole. You're going to play man coverage back there. No one's responsible for the quarterback.
Yeah, he got to his back foot. Was able to turn off field, pick up a fresh set of downs for the Raiders. He's got to do that more often for sure this year.
Mosgrip is the inside slot to the right. He comes in motion down the line, and they're going to give it to Morgan Crisp. He's up the middle, trying to push the pile, and it's a short gain there, maybe a yard or 2 for the Raiders. It'll bring up a 2nd down.
Yeah, when you have an offensive line coach like Trevor Bowles, I think we see the influence of Trevor, right? How much they lean on the rushing attack. We saw it last year at times with us maybe wanting to see them lean on the pass game a little bit. But I think over the course of a 4-quarter game and a long season, right, this is kind of how you like to play ball control football with the defense that you have, and really trying to lean on your rushing attack to open up other things as well, play action.
2nd down, Marino in the gun, snap to Dylan, back to throw. He's going to take a shot down the middle for McCubbin. He's got it! Touchdown! Raiders! And I'll tell you what, Cole, it looked to me like the ball might have hit the upright there, which I think would have blown the play dead automatically. But they are calling it a touchdown. What a start for the Raiders, Cole. Let's see if this ball hits the upright. It did.
Great call by you, Noah, but I don't think the Raiders are going to care. I don't believe the referees even noticed because there's no discussion on the field. Great pickup by you, but tremendous focus job there by Morgan McCubbin to keep his focus. Ball hitting off the upright. He's able to reel it in with one hand or kind of bring it back towards his body. I don't know if it's a truly one-handed catch, but great job there by Morgan McCubbin.
What a grab by McCubbin. You talk about deflections from a defender, Cole. How about a deflection from the upright? The tip drill from the right upright there. And the Raiders aren't going to complain about that call. It's a touchdown. And this game, Cole, it's a tie game. What a response by the VI Raiders. I'll tell you what, real quick here, I just want to give a shout out to the new left tackle, Carson Krenbrink. He is hanging in there in relief duties of Ty Teal with the injury.
Yeah, shout out to Carson. But got to give Morgan some flowers here, you know. Billed early on as one of their bigger off-season recruits. As I mentioned early on, out of the University of Guelph product, so he's that U Sports kind of, you know, bounce-back term that's been thrown around. Had some experience at the U Sports level, so he brings that experience into the CJFL. And showing here early on, he's got to be over 100 with the touchdown. Seems to be one of Dylan's go-to guys here early on.
He is over 100 yards now. The 82-yarder down the left sideline going the other way. And now a big touchdown catch. And the Raiders have tied this football game. Cole, what a game we've had so far. This game is living up to the billing at the Q Stadium. We are tied at 14. A tremendous response by the Raiders the last couple drives here. And offensive coordinator Chris Ashman's got to be loving what he's seeing from Dylan Marino.
Yeah, got to give Dylan some credit too, for sure, right? That's one that pre-snap, you probably like that matchup, seeing Morgan down the slot. Yes, the ball hit the upright, but just giving his guy an opportunity, putting the ball in a catchable range, right? And Morgan showing kind of how big his catch radius is, right? How big his range is. So they got to continue to lean in that, but they've also had Blaze McCarty affect the game, and other receivers, right, kind of step up. When you lose a Joey Fitt early on, it might kind of tend to be like, oh, who else is going to step into that shadow?
No doubt about it. The big off-season get for the Raiders, Morgan McCubbin, making his impact early and often. And I'll tell you what, Cole, Sean Arabsky has got to love the resilience shown by his football team here. They fall behind 14-0 early to the defending BCFC champions. Pretty easy for some previous Raiders team to just mail it in and go, oh, it's just same old Raiders, same old dominant Okanagan Sun. Not this team. This is a new-look Raiders team this year. They are going to fight till the finish, and the kick will drive them down there back towards the 15-yard line and down the left sideline. A good tackle made by Morgan Crisp, number 25, and he's getting some love from his teammates there.
Yeah, I believe that was Hassan, Pharaoh Hassan on the return for the Sun.
That's our guy. We love him.
Yeah, ex-Langley Ram. And, made an impact for the Rams last season as a returner, so I think the Sun will have high expectations for him to step into that role. Obviously, with a lead workhorse like Jackson Allen, he's not going to probably get too many reps on offense, so.
What a start to this game. The Sun jump out to a 14-0 lead, and the Raiders have responded. This game is tied at 14. Kruger in a shotgun. He fakes the give. He looks. He throws the shallow cross, and it is way over the head of Colton Meikle. And he's lucky that there were no Raiders back there, Cole. That one could have been picked off.
Yeah, that was close to that was intended the receiver, it almost looked like there. Liam kind of just sailed it over Colton's head on the little shallow cross route. Suns offense has kind of started to hit a little bit of a lull here in this game the last few drives. Not looking as comfortable.
Raiders showing a three-man rush pre-snap. Here comes Wisdom, coming late. He's in there on Kruger. Kruger gets it away, and it's almost intercepted by Max Shipham.
Tanai Wisdom, part of the game plan from the Raiders coaching staff and obviously Sean Arabsky, lining up in that three-man front, bringing Tanai from depth and really kind of leaning in on those matchups, right? Oki talented on the edges at tackle, and giving him some of those one-on-ones in the interior, and some of those interior guys has paid off here early on.
And Grady Hay is going to have to punt this one. You talk about football being a game of momentum, Cole. The Raiders have all the momentum right now. They got this home crowd into it after the slow start. And Grady Hay is back to kick this one. It's a high snap. He gets it and gets it away. There's a penalty flag down way back near the return. Here's Gavin Whittingham on that return, and he's taken down by the Sun at around the 44-yard line. What do you think this penalty is, Cole?
Got to be too many men again? I don't know.
That's what I would think, too. Yeah.
The side judge and the back judge throwing the flag. It does look it's on the Raiders, so it is going to back them up a little bit. But this is okay, right? Tie football game. It is going to be okay at times to punt versus the Okanagan Sun, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
You've taken back control of this football game, so I think you just go out here, look to put together a drive, but if you can, your defense is settled right back into this football game after surrendering 14 points early on.
They certainly have, Cole. The defense has halted this Sun offense the last couple drives here. They have had to punt, and the referee's having a discussion here. You see something, Cole?
Yeah, it just looks like the special teams unit's gathering, which I think I like, right? We saw at times last year some huge special teams error that cost this team at times.
Yeah, the special teams had a tough time last year, and Sean Arabsky, I think he kind of said enough is enough, Cole. I'm just going to do this myself, and he has taken over the special teams duties, and the special teams has looked good so far. They haven't missed any extra points. The downfield coverage has been a little bit better. The returns have looked great. Probably the only question mark is the punter right now. He's had a couple short kicks for the Raiders, but the Raiders offense coming out on the field here, and the referee will spot the ball. Okanagan is making some substitutions here. I think they probably want to re-kick, Cole. That's what I'm thinking.
They're bringing the offense back on the field.
It was third down and 10. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Cole. I thought a too many men penalty would be a 5-yard penalty, which would not give them an automatic first down.
Yeah, not good.
So maybe not too many men. Maybe we missed it, Cole. It might have been a personal foul. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. The ball has moved significantly, Cole. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's up almost 15 to 20 yards there.
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember a too many men penalty being 15 yards.
I know Sean's not going to be happy about that one. Defense back on the field. Fresh set of downs for the Sun.
And they're going to give it to Jackson Allen. He's off the left side, and he's taken down. Gang tackled by the Raiders there. They push him backwards. Good penetration by the Raiders defense, and we got a late hit, and it's on Wisdom, and it's going to draw a 15-yard penalty, and that's a big one against the Sun, Cole.
Massive. Uncharacteristic of the Sun. They kind of feel a little bit... They sense what we're sensing up in the booth as well. The Raiders have taken over this game.
There is blood in the water for the Raiders right now. They can smell it.
And if you're Tanai Wisdom, I think you got to continue to do what you're doing, right? Keep your cool. Understand that they're getting frustrated. The referee's always going to see the second man in, right?
Cole, we talked about it, that the offensive linemen for the Sun and Tanai, they were going at it at E-Camp. It was not a healthy discussion about what you're having for breakfast. There is some bad blood here between those two.
There's a ton of bad blood, and I know on a snap-and-snap basis that's not necessarily the matchup, but you could tell there's some jawing going on in the trenches right now, and things are getting heated. So if you're the Raiders, right, this is one where you got to, settle in, all good. They're getting frustrated, so hopefully this is going to set you guys up into a long first and long. Or
should be second and long because it was a dead ball foul.
Correct, Noah.
The run with Allen there on first down, he gets nothing, and the Raiders able to draw a huge penalty. Look at where the Sun are scrimmaging here from, Cole. They are taking over on their own 24-yard line. The first down is at the 50, so it's going to be second down and 24 for the Sun, Cole. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Holy smokes, that is a big penalty. And if you're Sean Arabsky, you're probably telling everyone on the secondary, nothing deep here, boys. Nothing deep. I like these new stands, Cole. The fans have figured it out. When you stomp on the stands, it makes a lot of noise. We can hear it all the way up here in the booth, and the Sun can definitely hear it down there on the field. Second down and 24 for the Sun. Shotgun snap to Kroger. He's going deep down the left side. He's got a man open, and it goes right through his hands. Wow. A drop by. Was that Mosey, Cole?
It was. Devontae Mosey. Liam with a dime. The Raiders defense.
They're going after Spencer Rempel early and often, Cole. Or was that Ashman back there? Let's take a peek here on the replay. Absolutely beautiful looking football. They had double coverage, but Mosey able to get in behind Ashman there. Ashman probably got to be a little more aware there. Second down and 24. The only way you give that up, go ball down the sideline. Jackson Ashman, back up, man. Situational awareness, my friend.
And the Raiders are going to be happy, no harm, no foul, to get off the football field here. And hopefully with a decent return, Jacob Celso, actually the return man in here.
Celso, the outstanding rookie for the Raiders last year, he stands back at his 40-yard line and awaits the kick from Grady Hay. There's pressure. It was nearly blocked. And Celso is going to let it bounce around. He picks it up. Celso up the middle. Celso gets through the first wave, and he's tackled by the second man in there right at the midfield stripe. A good return for Jacob Celso.
Second year Jacob Celso, and he's able to upgrade the number. Although I liked him in 10, but he's wearing 2 this year. And, you know, I don't know what it is about Jacob Celso, but he's just an electric player with the ball in his hands, right? He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he's able to make people miss and get upfield and churn out yards on more often than not.
I asked multiple VI Raiders players, who's your favorite player on the team? The most common answer I got, Jacob Celso. The guys just love this guy. He's about 5'6", but man, height does not measure heart. This guy plays with a ton of confidence, pride, and toughness. Here is a first down for Dylan Marino, and he will give it up the middle to Whittingham, and there's nothing going on there for Whittingham. And the offensive line got to open up a little more hole than that, but I'll tell you what, Cole, Morgan Crisp has had the most success of this running back course so far.
Yeah, agreed. Quick update, sorry, off topic, but close your ears if you are a BC Lions fan. Left tackle for the VI Raiders, Ty Teal, out of his pads and ice on the right shoulder, so I think another upper body, looking like a shoulder injury, and Ty was one that was kind of, you know, expectations for Ty was to have a big year, right, going into another season with the VI Raiders at left tackle. All offseason going against the All-Canadian Tanai Wisdom, I think, really was setting him up to have a big year, but he's dealing with the injury here in week 1.
Second L, they empty the backfield. The swing to the left is Whittingham. He's going to get clobbered, and a huge hit by number 23. That was Parker Scott, the linebacker for the Okanagan Sun. And Whittingham, I think he heard the train tracks. He drops that one.
He did, and the punting unit's going to come onto the field. But where you are on the field, I think hopefully your punter's able to have a better punt on this one and pin the Sun back deep in their territory, and you have the defense come on the field.
We'll see if we can get a better punt here. It's number 43, Zach Suter, who is the punter, and he's swinging that leg out there. And here are the Raiders. The snap from Max Shipham. Pressure. He gets it away. Good, better looking kick this time. Lots of hang time. The Raiders, very disciplined. They don't take the no yards. They throw him into the ground. Great special teams tackle by the VI Raiders.
Great tackle.
You know, Sebastian Lambert, number 21, flew downfield on special teams, came down late and didn't even have to stutter his feet. He just kept going and was able to bring down the returner for the Sun.
Way better looking kick there from Suter. He had nice height on that one, good hang time, and the distance looking a lot better there. I'm assuming he's probably going with the win this time, Cole. First down and 10 for the Sun at the 23-yard line. They will toss it out there to Jackson Allen. They're trying to get him on the edge. And a good tackle made. Finstad was in on that one, as well as another Raider in there. Max Shipham in there as well.
Yeah, this Raiders defense has really put a lid on this rushing attack here after the opening few drives.
I know the Raiders feel, Cole, one of the strengths of their football team is this linebacking core.
Yeah, absolutely. Star-studded across the board. And I think that's where you start with an Okanagan Sun team, right? Is try to take away that rushing attack, try to make them a little bit more one-dimensional.
Here comes the blitz from Shipham off the edge. They throw to the left. It's complete, and a quick tackle made. Great open field tackle in the secondary by the Raiders, and it will bring up a third down. And how aggressive do you want to be if you're Travis Miller? He's gone for it a couple times on third down. This is going to be third down and 2 from his own 30-yard line goal. You got to be kidding me. He's going to bring the punting team out. No wise decision by Miller.
He might be bringing Jumbo in. He's bringing Christos in. He's bringing Jumbo team, short yardage teams coming out of the field.
Goodness.
Bringing the extra hoggies in.
This is a big decision by Travis Miller. From his own 30-yard line, the Sun are going to go for it. Off the left side. I don't know. Flags are down. We're going to wait to check on the spot, but I think, Cole, a big part of this is going to be what's that penalty flag, and I'm wondering if the Raiders lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, I'm afraid that it is. Hopefully not that, if you are the Vancouver Island Raiders, but more often than not, that's where it's coming from.
They have him marked short, Cole. Oh, this is a big...
It's on the sun.
Holy smokes! Cole, I'm telling you, I think he's inches short.
Must have been some movement early on from the sun.
Now, if he was short, the Raiders should decline this penalty. Oh, Cole, interesting. It's a false start. So instead of being a turnover on downs, they should blow that dead before the play, and instead it's going to be a 3rd down and 6 that the Sun are going to have another shot at here. This is a very interesting development.
They're going to send the punting unit onto the field now, so that's a huge win for the Raiders defense. Getting off the field again. This defense is really settled in.
Jacob Celso, the outstanding rookie, back there to return the punt again. And we've got penalty flags, and you got to hope for the Raiders, Cole, this isn't against them. Guys, no. Fuck.
So Raiders in a similar spot on the field where they're going to be able to try to set themselves up around midfield and be in pretty good field position here. 4 minutes and 45 seconds still to go in the second quarter. Celso's able to get about 10-15 yards on this return. The Raiders are starting in really good field position here.
All right, so the penalty on the Sun again, and it backs them up. And it's a 3rd down and 7. Travis Miller is going to elect to punt this football. Grady Hayes stands back at around his own 12-yard line and awaits the snap. He gets it. There's pressure by the Raiders. Hayes able to get it away. He angles it towards the left sideline. And Celso will let this one go out of bounds at around the 43-yard line, and that is where Dylan Marino and the offense will go to work. And what have you seen from Marino so far in this game, Cole?
Yeah, him just settled right in. I think he's been at the tip of the spear in terms of people that have settled into this football game. Saw him early on, and maybe not even some nerves, right? We had an early drop from the receivers, right? Some
Yes.
quick 2-and-outs that don't allow you to really get into a rhythm. When the offense has been on the field, Dylan's been very productive, showing himself and showing his ability.
First down at the 43-yard line, and the new left tackle is still in there, Carson Krenbrink, and he's been doing a good job so far, but we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Shotgun snap to Marino. They give it. And another huge run from Morgan Crisp right up the gut, and he is close to that first down.
You got to keep Crisp in the game.
Holy smokes, Cole. He looks great.
He's by far had the most success. And a guy the Raiders have had their eyes on for a number of years, wanting to keep him in the system and be one of the homegrown products. He walked away from football last year and obviously found that spark again for the love of the game. So love to see Morgan coming in here and being impactful.
They are going to give the Raiders a first down. The call made by the senior official there in the white cap. And the Raiders have a first down at the 53-yard line.
No, how about the fans? I think maybe they forgot to set their alarms, but they started to turn out here and show up for the near sideline here. To the left of us, anyway, seems to be pretty packed, and the fans starting to turn in.
I got to tell you, folks, it looks empty on your screens on the other side. It is a huge, jam-packed side of the stadium on this side. Here's another Morgan Crisp run and a gain of 6, and Crisp continues to churn out the hard yardage goal. Wow, he is bringing a different level of power and toughness to this Raiders offense.
Yeah, he's just simply keeping his feet moving on contact. 3-4 Okanagan Sun defenders had a shot to take him down. Morgan Crisp is continuing to move forward and churn out positive yards here. This is a very manageable situation. The Raiders got to pick this one up.
2nd down and 4. Marino in the gun, Crisp behind him. Quads to the top of your screen. McCubbin, the lone receiver at the bottom. They'll give it to Crisp again, but this time the Sun are in on it, and he's stacked up there. And it's decision time now for the Raiders, Cole. Do you punt this football, or with 2 minutes and change to go in the first half, are you kind of tempted to go for it and take a late lead?
Yeah, I think that was Parker Scott, number 23, the Okanagan Sun linebacker, who was in on the tackle there, put a stop to Morgan Crisp. And the punting unit is going to come onto the field. I think this is the right call, right? Your coach Rabsky, a defensive-minded head coach, leaning on their defense and expecting them to get another stop. And I think where you are on the field as well, Noah, if you were to turn the ball over on downs, the Sun take over with a ton of momentum at midfield.
No doubt about it. It is tempting to try and take a late lead late in the half, but the possibility of giving the ball back to Okanagan at around midfield, probably enough to scare you away from that decision. We'll see if we can get a good punt here. That'll kind of tell you if this was the right decision or not. Here's the snap. It's a very high kick, but very short as well. And there's going to be a 15-yard no yards penalty. And Cole, this is why sometimes I'm just tempted to go for it. It's going to be a net of about 10 yards on the punt.
Yeah, after the flag, it might be less. That's going to be a 15-yard no yards because he caught it in the air.
Correct.
So one for the Raiders special teams unit. That's one that, your offense is doing well enough. Your defense is doing tremendous. Your special teams unit you have to play a true three-phase game.
No doubt about it. The punting situation, Cole, is something to keep an eye on for the VI Raiders. They are having a little bit of trouble with that right now. So the Sun will scrimmage from their own 39-yard line. It's a difference of about 15 yards in field position. But, hey, with the Raiders' defense, maybe that 15 yards makes a big difference. Kruger in the shotgun. He'll give it off the right side to Allen. And he runs over Jackson Ashman and gets a nice gain there. And Ashman is down on the field. He'll get a hand up, but he just got run over there. Allen, he'll run over some of the best of them.
Yeah, darn right. I think that's one for the Sun. They're going to really want to get that guy going. And that'll tend to, I think, open up their play-action game, that RPO that they like to run. They got to start to establish Jackson Allen again. Been very quiet after that first initial 2 drives.
Second down and about 4. Kruger will go right back to Allen. He's off the left side, and he's taken down there by Tanai Wisdom, but he's got the first down for the Sun.
It's going to be a big moment to end the first half here. Raiders have the unit they want on the field, their defense. And can they keep the Sun off the scoreboard and go into the half tied, or maybe even give their offense a little bit of time on the board? But I think as of now, they're focused on just getting a stop and keeping it tied at the half.
If you could go into the locker room tied at 14, I think Sean Arabsky would have signed up for that one if you told him that was going to be the deal before the game started here. Kruger in the shotgun, fakes the give, throws it out there to the left. It's complete to Moxey. Moxey brought down with one hand by Sterling Henry. What a tackle by Sterling Henry, Cole.
Yeah, Sterling grabbed on and didn't let go. Good job by Sterling, because that could have turned into much more, or at least a bigger gain, and set them up into a better second down here. But a minimal gain there by, was it Mosey? Thanks to Sterling in the tackle.
Cole, I'm sure a lot of members of the West Shore Rebels thought that they should have been the game of the week this week against the Langley Rams. Those are 2 football teams that are expected to be near the top of the conference. Maybe the Rebels, I could see their players saying, oh, come on, Okanagan's going to blow VI out. They're still the best in the league. No chance. The Raiders are hanging in there. Here comes the blitz by the Raiders. Kruger gets obliterated as he throws it. He goes deep down the right side, and it is overthrown, and there is no penalty flag down, and the Raiders should get the football back here.
Yeah, Chad Alexander, the intended receiver, with Caleb Thiessen in coverage. Caleb actually coming up limping, which I hate to see. I know he was battling through a little bit of off-season, tweaks here and there, so hopefully Caleb's able to battle through this one. But great job by Caleb, and I think defensive backs at times can tend to panic, right, when the ball's in the air and they kind of lose track of where the receiver was. Caleb stayed in phase. The ball wasn't uncatchable, and good job by Caleb to stay stride for stride with the receiver.
So the Sun punting here from their own side of the field, and the snap back there, Grady Hay gets it away. It's a tremendous kick. And, oh, my goodness, Cole, it goes off the Raiders. It's on the ground.
I think they recovered. Yeah, Raiders recovered, I believe.
Thank goodness the Raiders were able to pick that up. Cole, I think you have an injury update on Joey Foote.
Yeah, just for any parents or friends and family that are wondering, but I do believe we did get an update on Joey Foote. From everything we are hearing, I believe he is being transported to the hospital right now, and it is indeed a shoulder injury.
Not good for the Raiders. Not good at all. Foote was one of the biggest gets in the offseason for this team. He was highly touted. His debut for the Raiders is him dropping a screen pass and potentially blowing his shoulder out. So not what you wanted if you were the VI Raiders with your big offseason acquisition. Here is Dylan Marino in the shotgun, and they're going to fake the give. Marino looking. He's going to take another shot. Morgan McCubbin is there! McCubbin! Oh, my goodness! It goes right through his hands! Oh, man!
I think there might be a roughing the passer.
McCubbin separated late, and holy smokes, Cole. Morgan McCubbin looks like the real deal. He almost hauled that one in, if not for a tremendous job by the Sun to punch that one out at the last second there. You see the DB getting his hands in there late.
Yeah, it was number 29, Riley Easton, veteran defensive back for the Sun.
What a ball there by Dylan Marino, Cole. Deep ball, Dylan. He is looking fantastic throwing the ball down the field right now.
For the American, first game in the CFL field, throwing it to the wide side, showing off his arm ability. Great job there by Dylan, and also standing in. I believe we missed the referee signal, but I believe it's going to be a roughing the passer on the Sun, giving the Raiders a fresh set of downs. But my goodness, if Morgan McCubbin was able to hang on to that ball.
Would have been one of the catches of the year right there. Dylan Marino, his deep ball accuracy looks just like a guy that I used to love watching, Dan Marino. Turned on the highlights there. Here's the handoff to Whittingham off the right side, and he's got a nice gain for the Raiders as we come under a minute to play in the first half. It's a gain of about 9, and the Raiders are going to have to hurry here if they want to get some points before the end of the half.
Yeah, nice to see another back other than Morgan Chris get a little bit of positive gain there on first down for the Raiders. Looks like about 8 yards on first down. It's going to be second and 1.5, maybe 2.
Clock is running, Cole. We have 51 seconds to go in the first half. Raiders have got to be a little hurried up here if you're the Raiders. Marino giving hand signals, changing the play, takes the snap, fakes the give. He's under pressure. He gets out of it. Marino running down the right sideline. Can Dylan run for the first down? He can! What a run by Dylan Marino. And he's got the first down. He gets out of bounds, and he stops that clock with 35 seconds to go.
What a crafty play there by Dylan Marino. And we talked about this at practice, Noah, that the other element of Dylan's game would be when he turns on his instincts and is able to utilize just when the bullets are flying, you're going to do stuff that's off script, right? And he's able to showcase that right here, kind of spin out the backside of the defense and be able to pick up the first down.
Clock stops with 35 seconds to go in the first half. A tremendous play there by Dylan Marino getting out of trouble and running for the first down. We've got a Sun player injured. That's number 44, and that's a guy you wanted to keep an eye on, Cole. Mitch Hickingbottom, who is a highly touted player on that defensive line. He is out of the game. Dylan Marino, what a showcase in the first half here, Cole. And I told you practice, we talked about it. The one thing you're not going to see from Dylan in practice, you will see in the game, that improvisation. So Marino really using those legs, but the thing that I've been most impressed with is the deep ball accuracy that he has displayed in this game. Him and Morgan McCubbin, they are on the same page. First down at the 45-yard line. Marino in the gun, shotgun snap to Dylan. He looks right, fires right. Moscrip's open, and Moscrip's got the grab. And Marino hit again on that one. No call this time. It's a gain of 5. Clock will start when the referee blows it in. 31 seconds to go in the first half. I don't know how they feel about their field goal kicking situation with McQueen gone. Sterling Henry, I think, is handling the field goals. Second down and 4. Marino takes a snap, throws a wide receiver screen out there, and it goes right through the hands of Cooper Mann. And
I tell you what, sorry, no, not to cut you off, but not to change topics too much, but Dylan Marino showing a ton of toughness here, standing in and making some of these throws. That previous first down, the completion to Parker Moscrip, standing in, taking multiple roughing the passers here early on. So Dylan showing his stuff, and I think the Raiders have found their leader, their quarterback.
Gotta like what you're seeing from Dylan Marino if you're a Raiders fan, or anyone on that coaching staff. He is displaying a ton of poise in this game. He's getting hit early and often, but no fear from the kid from Los Angeles, California. He is standing in there and making the throws. Here's the snap back to the punter. They get the kick away. It's another short kick, and it goes right backwards for the Raiders. It's going to bounce. Oh, it's off the Sun, and it will be picked up by the Sun there. We have 20 seconds to go in there. 14 seconds to go. Sorry, correction there. 14 seconds to go in the first half for the Sun, and we'll see if they take a shot here to try and get it in field goal range. The Raiders offense, Cole, they are clicking on all cylinders, and if not for a few drops in the receiving core, Dylan Marino, I mean, he might be at 90% completion percentage right now.
Yeah, Dylan, the offense has really shown some stuff here. It's unfortunate they haven't been able to. They've had a better half than a 14-point performance, and I think they'll look to build on some stuff here in the second half.
If we can start catching those wide receiver screens, Cole, we could have even more yardage. Drops by Joey Foote and a drop by Cooper Mann as well on that wide receiver screen. And here is Kruger in the shotgun. Straight back to throw. They set up the screen there, and there is a ton of room for Jackson Allen down the left side, and he's taken down there by Bytel. AB makes the tackle, but Allen has got this ball all the way to about inside the 40. It's at the 39-yard line. There's 7 seconds to go in the half, and we'll see what the Sun want to do here, Cole.
Thankfully, AB was able to come up from his safety position and get a tackle. You said there, Noah, a ton of green grass in front of Jackson when he caught that pass.
Could be the last play of the half. It will be the last play of the half. 1 second to go. Kruger gets it off. Hail Mary time. Kruger steps up, fires it short. It's complete to Mosey, and a nice tackle made there by Spencer Rempel, and that will end the half. A very interesting first half. The game is tied 14-all. Cole, any first half thoughts before we send this to commercial break?
Yeah, what a win for the Vancouver Island Raiders here, going into the half, 14-14. I'm curious what the message will be from Sean Ravage to his team, though, right? Do not be satisfied to be just tied in this game. You want to, as you said earlier, the blood is in the water with this team right now. You want to go for the kill and try to kick the Sun while they're down. I would imagine Coach Miller's going to be very fired up in that Sun locker room and be pissed off and wake up that team.
Cole, how do the Raiders shock the football world and win this football game in the second half?
Well, I think business as usual, right? We talked about it multiple times last season that this team is led and their bread's butter with their defensive, right? So there's going to be a low-scoring game. You're hoping that if you're the Raiders, the defense is going to keep you in the game, and then your offense can do just enough, execute just enough, and put up, say maybe 20, 24, 28 points, and that's where you try to be in that sweet spot.
And if you're the Sun, Cole, any second half adjustments you're going to be making?
Yeah, I would like to see it's been tough, right? Because the Raiders' defense has really kept Jackson Allen in check, but I think that's where it starts, right? Is the run game and then getting him involved out of the backfield as well. I like the screen pass late, so we'll see what adjustments the Sun make, because they will.
We are going to send this to break here. A very entertaining first half. The matchup is living up to the billing. It was the TELUS Game of the Week, and if you are the folks at TELUS, you're probably pretty happy that you made this one the Game of the Week. This is VI Raiders football. You are watching on TELUS. We thank you for joining us wherever you might be across this beautiful country of Canada. We'll be back in the second half. Thank you, everybody.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
For 50 years, Mr. Lou Plus Tires has proudly helped Canadians experience Canada. Whether that's making memories, making your way to the game,
I meant right. Wait, where are we?
or making the most of your weekend. Mr. Lou Plus Tires, celebrating 50 years. Proudly Canadian.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
Okay, team, let's have a great show.
Rank is reflected in positions and names.
For 50 years, Mr. Lou Plus Tires has proudly helped Canadians experience Canada. Whether that's making memories, making your way to the game,
I meant right. Wait, where are we?
or making the most of your weekend. Mr. Lou Plus Tires, celebrating 50 years. Proudly Canadian.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
Okay, team, let's have a great show.
Rank is reflected in positions and names.
For 50 years, Mr. Lou Plus Tires has proudly helped Canadians experience Canada. Whether that's making memories, making your way to the game,
I meant right. Wait, where are we?
or making the most of your weekend. Mr. Lou Plus Tires, celebrating 50 years. Proudly Canadian.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
An electric first half in this one, Cole. The Raiders, they are hanging right in there with the number one team in the BCFC, the Okanagan Sun. I'd said it before, I'll say it again, Cole. If you're the good folks at TELUS, you're pretty happy you made this one the game of the week.
Yeah, what a way to start the 2026 season. Raiders defense going to be up here first with the Sun receiving the ball to start the second half. Curious to see what the message was on both sidelines. If they're the Raiders, obviously they're excited, but this is not at all where you want to be satisfied, right, and be happy with winning a half. We saw it multiple times. I shouldn't say multiple times, but we saw it a few times last year where maybe the Sun didn't look like their usual selves for, say, a quarter or a half, and they turned it back on, and the scoreboard didn't indicate how close I think some of the games were. So the Raiders are going to have to keep their foot on the gas and keep the standard they played in the first half.
With the departure of Ruben Bonsu in the offseason, moving on to the Manitoba Bisons, it's good to see Morgan McCubbin, the guy that's playing his old boundary wideout spot, stepping up just like he had in the first half goal. What have you seen from McCubbin so far?
Yeah, great start for Morgan through 2 quarters. Morgan was a guy who, I was excited to see throughout the offseason work, and honestly, wanting to kind of see like another level or two from Morgan. And he's really proven, I think, some of the, you could say, doubters wrong. And he's really performed here today and stood out as, the clear-cut receiver one here early on.
Especially with the loss of Joey Foote, who could be out for an extended period of time. Morgan McCubbin, he is going to become the go-to guy in this offense. It's become apparent early and often that he is the guy. And we are all good to go in the second half here. There's the boot by Sterling Henry, and it's going to be returned. And great downfield coverage by the Raiders. They take him down on the 25-yard line. And a good start to the second half for VI.
I think it was Chris Cooper and Aiden Bytel on the tackle. Aiden Bytel has been everywhere today. He's by far the leading tackler for the VI Raiders here today, and love to see it from Aiden.
AB is probably the defensive player of the first half in this game, although Tanai Wisdom, he doesn't have any sacks, I don't think, Cole, but he's been in there with pressure on Kruger early and often.
Yeah, he's got to have at least 3 or 4 pressures. He celebrated a sack, but I think that was the one that went to Logan Queering.
First down, Sun, at their own 25-yard line, and they're going to go right back to Allen off the left side, and he's gang tackled there by the Raiders. There's 4 Raiders in there on him, and Colton Finstad is fired up, and he is the main run stopper on that defense, Cole.
That was a great team effort there, and most notably by the interior of the defensive line. It looked like, was that Anderson? I believe
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, Tony getting the initial pressure, kind of making the running back have it a bounce, and then forcing him back into Logan Queering and Colton Finstad, all the rest of the bodies on defense.
Anthony Anderson, a Barsby High School grad, a local product right here in Nanaimo. Good to see him with the immediate penetration there on the run on first down. Here is Kruger in the shotgun on second down and 9. Looking right. Fires it short. It's intercepted! It's picked up by Colton Finstad! And Finstad is taken down at the 20-yard line! A huge interception to start the second half goal! Raiders are set up in the red zone. Colton Finstad dropping in his own coverage there, and Kruger threw it right to him.
And Liam looks flustered here, throwing multiple intercepting balls that should have been intercepted. That was right to Colton Finstad as we're trying to get the replay here.
Yeah, Cole, he's thrown 3 passes this game that could have been picked off. He finally gets burned there. Finstad able to close the deal and make the catch. Kruger looks shaken up. He's been hit a couple times, and now he has thrown an interception. So you wonder if those happy feet starting to creep in for Kruger. Here's Dylan Marino in the red zone shotgun. One man in the backfield is Whittingham. They're going to throw it out to the left. It's complete to Blaze McCarty, and it's jarred loose, and it will be incomplete. A good defensive play there by the boundary half to knock that ball out of there.
Yeah, I think it was a good play there by the DB, but also one that Blaze has got to hang on to there. Kind of a bang-bang play. When the ball did get brought in, looked like the DB played the hands pretty well, but Blaze has one of the most reliable hands on the team. So
only 4 drops in his CJFL career spanning 2 years for the VI Raiders. Marino's having a little bit of trouble with getting the play there, and the Raiders might have to use a timeout here if they don't hurry. Marino shotgun from the 18-yard line. Snap to Dillon. 4-man rush by the Sun. Dillon chased. Scampering to his right. He's on the run. Dillon can run for it. Makes a man miss. And he pulls ahead forward for extra yardage. We'll see how close he is. And I got to tell you, Cole,
I think he should have kept coming out near the sideline. It looked like he had much more room. I don't know what he saw to try to cut it back. We'll see on the replay here. Maybe.
Cole, are you going for this on third down here?
It's tempting. It's very tempting. I think I would leave the offense on the field.
With the way Dylan's played, right, it's hard not to put the ball in his hands and trust him.
I'm not too sure how much confidence you do have in your special teams unit as well. It's still a work in progress. So keeping the offense out here on third and what looks to be about 5 yards, maybe even a little bit less than that.
3rd and 5. Morgan McCubbin, bottom of your screen to the boundary. Marino goes on 2. He got him to jump offside. Marino rolling to his right. Flags are down. Throws into the end zone for Blaise McCarty. And it's knocked away by the Sun. But it will draw a 5-yard penalty. And this should give the Raiders a first down.
Situational football right there, right? Aware of what happened. Defense jumps offside. Dylan knows they're going to have a free play here. They can go down the field, put the ball in a little bit of harm's way, but giving Blaise McCarty an opportunity there on the free play, I like that. And I think if he would have put a little bit more air on that, Blaise would have came down with that one.
Yeah, he's just getting to know his receivers. Blaise McCarty, a head-top specialist, and you'd like to see the ball a little higher there to give McCarty a chance, but great job by Dylan. You can tell he's been coached well in the United States. 3rd down and 5, go on 2. See if you can get the free play. They do, and it should give the Raiders a first down. We'll see just how close it is. They do have a first down as the yardsticks change. Raiders first down at the 7-yard line. They knock on the doorstep of the Okanagan Sun. The Raiders threaten to take the lead early in the 3rd quarter. Marino shotgun. Whittingham behind him. They're going to throw. Marino, pressure, over the middle. Blaise McCarty does not come across face on the slant route.
Yeah, I want to see a replay on that one. I'm not too sure if the DB just kind of got good positioning and stayed inside on Blaise, or Blaise didn't fight through that one. But
you always tell your receivers go on slants. He got it cross face.
Yeah,
right?
You got to fight through a little bit of the traffic, a little bit of the hand fighting. The DB did make a good play, but
looks like the DB just made a good play.
Yeah, it was Ty Walker, number 14. But Dylan Marino really building off the respectable first half, going 5-9, 139 yards, and the touchdown.
2nd down and goal at the 7. 3 receivers into the boundary, Celso, McCubbin, and Moskrip. Snap to Marino. He's looking there. Marino chased, gets out of trouble. His jersey's pulled, and he's going to be brought down in the middle of the field. But I'll tell you what, Cole, it should be a gimme field goal from here, you would hope.
It should, and this is going to be the first time we see this operation at work this season. Dylan looking downfield, trying to extend the play as much as he could. It looked like it was it number 8, I think, the final guy that brought him down? The linebacker, Liam O'Flynn. But Raiders field goal unit on the field here.
And it is the mystery man, Agent 79, who's going to be doing the kicking here for the Raiders. And we'll see if Agent 79 can put this one through. Quiet on the putting green. It's put down by Brady Vindevogel, and the kick is good. Agent 79 making no mistakes for the VI Raiders, and they have a 17-14 lead over the Okanagan Sun. The underdog Raiders, Cole, they have jumped out to an early second half lead. The Sun, we're going to have to see how they respond, and it looks like they're just going to take the ball at the 35, which is an interesting rule of Canadian football.
And how does Liam respond, first and foremost? If you're the Sun, right, he's shown he's been flustered this game, especially coming off the interception last drive.
Kruger has been hit early and often by the Raiders, and we got a penalty flag. And is this going to be too many men or delay of game? It looks like the referee's counting how many players they got. This should be a too many men on the Okanagan Sun, Cole, and it's a huge penalty.
I think they might pick it up, Noah.
Oh, they're going to pick it up. Interesting.
Yeah, they're picking it up. It was the right number of guys. The Sun, you were correct, and the white hat was counting the number of players, but
Watch between tackles out there. Scrambles for a little 5-yard gain. That'll make it 3rd down.
Okay, team, let's have a great show.
Rank is reflected in positions and names.
Usually played wide receiver with the Kamloops Broncos has moved into that H-back spot nicely for the Sun. Play action on 1st down. Kruger's got a man wide open downfield, and it is caught. Caleb Thiessen gets beat there and run into the end zone. That is Mosey for a touchdown, and the Sun have taken the lead 20-17.
I think that's one I mentioned earlier on, but I believe it was Caleb Thiessen who was beaten in coverage. He immediately taps his helmet. I think he's going through something. Speaking with Caleb during the offseason and knowing that he did battle something, I'm curious to see how they're going to handle that. If they do bring out Caleb, already losing a defensive back with Joey Foote, how do they kind of shuffle around things? Dylan Winters already having to be asked to play a meaningful role here early on. How much do they trust in their depth? If Thiessen's truly not able to go and unhealthy, yeah, he's limping out there. It doesn't look like Caleb's 100%.
Grady Hay able to put the extra point through to give the Suns a 21-17 lead over the VI Raiders. And for the Raiders, Cole, you knew it wasn't going to be easy. There was going to be punches thrown back and forth. The Raiders grabbed the early second half lead. The Sun, with a good response of their own, the big passing play, Kruger to the newcomer, Devontae Mosey. And Mosey, man, he is as advertised. 5 yards in behind Caleb Thiessen there for the big touchdown pass. And Grady Hay is back in to kick this one off. And if you're the Raiders, Cole, you're excited to see how Marino and the offense respond.
This is one for the Raiders, too. Like, this is a good thing to be in these type of games. This is what you ask for, right? The blowout losses of years previous. When you start to become a good team and top-tier team in the conference, you're going to be in a lot of close ball games and have to be comfortable in these situations.
So the only difference in this game, the Raiders settling for the field goal there in the red zone, whereas the Sun have capitalized with touchdowns every opportunity they have.
Squib.
Raiders got to pick this up, and it's a huge blunder by the Raiders. Colton Finstad was standing right there, and for some reason, he did not just catch the ball and pick it and start running with it.
I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to cut you off right away. It looked like that was a true squib kick, wanting to get it behind that first row of defenders, in between the first and second row defenders. Finstad kind of misjudging it there, not understanding the ball's up in the air, and the Okanagan Sun unit is flying down the field.
Yeah, it's not the punter or kicker that's got to recover that goal. Anyone can recover a kickoff. Colton Finstad going to have to be a little more aware there going forward. If that ball's kicked short to you, you just got to pick it up, man. Fall on the football if you're not comfortable running with it. First down at the 30. Kruger will give it to Allen off the right side. And he's taken down by a couple VI Raiders there after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, one if you're Colton, this is where you want to make up for it on the defensive side of football. Hopefully be able to make a big play for your team down here, because just as the Raiders kind of, in this game, they give back the ball to the Sun and a chance to take a 2-score lead here.
Could be a huge turning point in the game, but the Raiders defense, if they can get off the field here, it'll be no harm, no foul. 2nd down and about 5 for Kruger. He's in the shotgun. He goes on 2. He got the Raiders to jump offside. Kruger deep left side and nowhere near anybody. Kruger took another shot on that one, and he is down. He's getting back up now.
2 flags on the play. One to our near sideline here.
Should be offside on the Raiders, Cole. They went on 2, the hard count there.
I know Coach Rapsky not happy down here below us. One of the Raiders can't afford to continue to give them penalties. We talked about it with our stat man at halftime. The kind of big TSN turning point of the first half there was the Raiders not taking any more penalties. I believe our stat man said that there were 6 15-yard penalties taken by the Raiders in that first half, so got to clean that up.
They were one of the more disciplined teams last year, near the bottom of the league in penalties, but the Raiders with 6 personal fouls in the first half there.
9 for 95 to be exact.
Big thank you to our stat guy in the booth next to us. Doing a great job there. 1st down, Sun at the 20-yard line. Jackson Allen is in the backfield. Shotgun snap to Kruger. He looks right. He floats it out there, and there's a man wide open. And what an open field tackle there by Spencer Rempel.
Yep, great job by Spencer. And I know another offseason addition that the Raiders were quite excited to get in-house. Comes with some more CJFL experience playing with the Regina Thunder, and is dropped into this defense as a day 1 starter.
He flips the receiver, doing a cartwheel there on his back. Great tackle by Rempel. But now he's got the responsibility of covering Devontae Moxey at the top of the screen. Kruger in a gun. Takes a snap, looking in Mosey's direction. Throws it out there to the right. It's complete to Allen. And he gets by Finstad and takes the ball in for a touchdown. And the Okanagan Sun have grabbed a 2-score lead on the VI Raiders.
Yeah, that Sun sideline very energetic after that touchdown. This is exactly the start that you didn't want for the Raiders to really surrender back momentum. Jackson Allen able to make a few defenders miss. It's a tough one for Colton Finstad when you're kind of coming inside out and you're flowing so hard to the sideline. Jackson putting his foot in the ground after he caught the ball and kind of turning back into the flow of the defense and then making a few defenders miss and being able to find the end zone.
Allen put on the brakes there real well. Cut back to the middle of the field. Colton Finstad kind of in no man's land out there, and he got by him for a touchdown. So the Sun have taken a 28-17 lead over the VI Raiders, and the Raiders are going to have to respond here on this drive.
Yeah, I talked about it a few moments ago, right, of like we kind of seen this script a few times last season with the Okanagan Sun, right, of maybe not playing to their standard in a first half or maybe for a few quarters, but really starting to turn things up a notch and really taking over in the second half and making the score indicate that things weren't as close as they actually were.
If you're the Raiders, Cole, the one thing I'll say, McCubbin's been great. He's been doing a lot of the damage. Where are any of the other receivers for the VI Raiders?
Yeah, Parker Moscrip's been unheard of, virtually unheard of today.
Celso, nowhere to be found. Blaze McCarty, nowhere to be found. We need a little more out of that receiving core. McCubbin's been great. Here's another short kick, and this time it is wisely caught there by the Raiders and falling down immediately. And the Raiders, this is a big drive coming right here.
Yeah, one that you can't get out of character, right? You're going to make some mistakes throughout a football game. The game is well within the balance. Just got to go down the field here and respond. I'm curious to see what Coach Ashman has in mind.
First down at the 31-yard line is where the Raiders will scrimmage this drive from. Dylan Marino shotgun. Cooper Mann is in the backfield, and they're going to give it to Mann. And again, another short gain. The only Raiders running back, Cole, who's had any success against this Okanagan front seven. Of course, the man coming up from the Comox Valley Raiders.
We have some more shuffling in the Raiders receiving corps, too. We also have a number 80 in the game who is listed as Parker Moskret, but we both know it's not.
Yeah, we'd love to know who the mystery man is.
Looks like they've moved Jacob Celso back into the slot. They got McCubbin and Blaze still working out into the boundary.
Short gain of 2 on first down.
Raiders very slow to the line of scrimmage. I think there's some confusion here.
Big time confusion. Number 80 has no idea what he's doing, and he finally runs out there to the proper spot, and it's probably going to be a little bit too late. This may be a time count violation, and it is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't see Coach Ashman down on the sideline, so I am curious if he's up in the booth next door to us. One that, with Sean kind of handing a lot of responsibilities and being in charge of the timeouts, maybe if you are Coach Ashman and you're down there, it's kind of, you see your team not on the same page. It's one of those ones you start to voice up, hey, timeout, but no communication down on the field, unfortunately.
Second down and long. Marino straight back to throw, stepping up in the pocket. He's going to run for it, and he's brought down near the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be punt time for the VI Raiders. And it's tough, Cole. You can feel this one. The momentum has shifted. You hope it's not slipping away from the Raiders here.
Yeah, they need a response here big time. You hope that the tip of the spear all year last year and going into this year, defense can provide one.
All right, here's the punting effort coming from the Raiders. Suter stands back there at around his 17-yard line and awaits the snap from Max Shipham. Suter gets it, and he took a long time to get that kick away, and he's lucky that he did. There's going to be a 15-yard no yards on the Raiders, and here's the run down the left side, and they swarm him there at around the midfield stripe, but this will be a 15-yard penalty, and you know what, Cole? The referee just threw his hat off, so that usually indicates there's another penalty coming on top of the 15-yard no yards.
Yeah, unfortunately, you and I are well aware at the penalty-heavy games that can tend to happen in the BCFC and across the CJFL. I want to say there was nearly 20 penalties there in the first half, so for both sides, I think you hope to get it cleaned up, and it can cost the team.
They were talking to Bytel initially, which would suggest that the late penalty may go against the Sun. We'll hope for the Raiders case, Cole. We're trying to be neutral here, but we are from Nanaimo. We'll hope for the Raiders case that it is offsetting penalties between the two teams. But if this is a double whammy, 2 15-yard penalties on the Raiders, it's going to set the Sun up around the 30-yard line of the Raiders, already close to field goal range. Let's check on the call from the senior official.
It looks like it's a no yards called on VI and then a roughing foul, I believe, on Okanagan. Late hit.
It is on Okanagan. Good sign there, Cole. Offsetting 15-yard penalties. And the Sun will scrimmage from around the same spot they would have from where they would have got the ball initially.
Yeah, this would be a good time. That the two drives previous, I believe, was the Colton Finstad interception, and one that kind of felt like at the time flipped momentum back into the Raiders' hands. So
no doubt.
One that if you're the Raiders defensive unit here, can they make a play? Can they make a game-changing play to give their team a spark?
Haven't heard much from Jackson Ashman. Be a good time for an interception here. He's one of the Wiz's favorite players. Kruger scrimmaging from his own 40-yard line. Kruger shotgun, 2 men in the backfield. The first man through is Meikle. They'll give it to the change of pace back, and he's swarmed there by the Raiders after a short gain of about 2.
I've been very impressed with the Raiders' run defense here through about 2 quarters and some change. Playing a little bit shorthanded. I know that there's some, guys that they hope to contribute in that tier defensive line that are coming and battling through some injuries, trying to get to full strength. But they've been up to the test here on Jackson Allen and been trying to contain him all day.
Second down and about 8. They put Kruger in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the field, bottom of your screen. 2 to the boundary at the top. Kruger calls for the ball. He's got it. Here comes the rush by the Raiders. Kruger gets it away, and it is way out of bounds. Nowhere near the intended receiver. There was pressure on Kruger, and he took another pop. And Kruger is probably going to need an ice bath after this one, Cole.
Yeah, that was one that it looked like he was trying to go to Mosey on the far sideline. Mosey actually created separation, but Liam nowhere near the intended target. And actually, yeah, he did get pressure, but he let the ball go cleanly.
So back deep to return is Jacob Celso yet again. It'd be a great time for a big run back. The ball boys get late getting the ball off the field there. We are good to go. The punter, Grady Hay, waits for the ball. And the Raiders, they need a big return more than ever right here. Snap to Hay. They're in there on him, but he's able to get it away. It bounces around. Celso's got to pick this thing up. He does. Celso looking for space, makes the first man miss. Celso down the left sideline. Celso gets past the first wave, and he's taken out of bounds of the midfield stripe. Heck of a return by Jacob Celso. He is electrical.
Exactly what the doctor ordered for the VI Raiders. I believe you like to use the saying, height doesn't measure heart, Noah. Jacob Celso, smallest player on the field, he does not care whatsoever. I said it earlier, I don't know what it is about this kid, and super excited for the future of Jacob Celso, just being a second-year product, but every time he touches the ball, the kid finds a way to make a play.
They have got to find a way to get the ball in his hands, Cole, whether it's a wide receiver screen out there, something. He's playing that field side wide out. It's hard to make throws all the way out there, but you got to find ways to get the ball in the hands of Jacob Celso.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. I think due to the injuries, they've actually shuffled him back into the slot, which I think is his most natural position. I think where he's going to be the most comfortable and most dangerous for you offensively. I think if, Coach Ashman kind of moving forward schematically, getting him involved, as you said, with those receiver screens, jet sweeps, getting the ball into his hands and creating yak yards.
The penalty moves the Raiders back, and here we go, right on cue. It's a screen to Celso, and there are no blocks set up, and he's taken down there. Would have liked to have seen more of an effort there from Cooper Mann. Not much of a block given to Celso there. But Mann's had a tough game today.
Yeah, but kind of more of what we said, right? He makes the first defender miss. Unfortunately, is unable to pick up a block, so he can't make the second one miss. But I like the idea. It's almost like Chris Ashman's next to us in the booth here. But one that I just think Celso is going to be such an underrated weapon. And it's hard to say, right, when you have Morgan McCubbin, Blaze McCarty, Parker Moskrep, all these weapons, and hard to get him the ball.
A lot of mouths to feed in this receiving course. Second down and 8. Marino in the gun. Takes a snap. 4-man rush by the Sun. Marino stepping up. He can run for it. Head towards the sideline, Dylan. He is. And he's about a yard short of the first down. There's a late flag way in the back here. And we'll wait to see what that one is.
I'm curious. The Raiders' sideline doesn't look too pleased, so...
Oh, is it going to be on McCubbin?
That'll be a killer if it is on.
If we can get just an ISO cam on number 3 for the Raiders, that would be much appreciated. I think it might have been a late foul there. Let's see.
The Raiders coaches weren't happy when the flag got thrown. I think Dylan was going to be a few yards short, but definitely manageable third down situation.
Would have been a third down and a yard. Cole, you got something here.
I believe it's going to be a coach's on the field penalty, so a bench minor. Huge mistake. One I actually saw early on, the referee warned the Raiders. We actually heard about this early on from our stat man himself, actually talking about the teams being on different sidelines. Okie has the much bigger sideline, or I guess wider sideline from the fence line, so the Raiders kind of being squished in, and they're going to get a bench minor, and it's going to be first down and 10 after what would have been potentially a first down.
My apologies to Morgan McCubbin. That was not your fault, man. That was someone on the bench doing something not very intelligent. First down and 10. Marino rolling to his right. Pressure's on him. Marino going back to his left. Makes a man miss. You got to throw it away, Dylan. Just throw it away. He gives it to Moskrep. One-handed catch. No! Parker drops the ball.
Oh, man. The Raiders receivers have not helped out Dylan here today. A handful of costly drops. a lot of green grass for Parker. I don't think he would have picked up the first down, but it would have set up a very reasonable second down,
Look at the elusiveness of Dylan Marino, Cole.
And it just looked like Parker never got comfortable with the football.
Wearing Dallas Clark's old number 44. Another good tight end in the NFL for many years for the Colts.
I'm curious, in second down and long here, how aggressive the Raiders will be knowing that they have their defense. Do we see someone kind of like a screen draw type thing, or do they try to attack this first down?
Second down and long. This is a huge one for the Raiders. You don't want to give the ball back to the Sun. They empty the backfield. Marino straight back. Throws to Mosgrip. He makes the catch, and he's within a yard of it here. And we'll see how aggressive the Raiders want to be. Cole, there's no way you can punt this football. Not with the momentum the Sun have.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think you have to look to put some sort of points here on the board.
It's just slightly more than a yard. It's about a yard and a couple inches.
I would have liked to see Parker turn upfield a little quicker. It looked like he was taking a few seconds to try to secure the ball after dropping the previous pass. It is going to set them up in a very manageable situation to get this, but I'm curious, is it going to be Dylan? Is it going to be Parker taking that snap? They're in the gun again, so
I think read options coming here. It's Morgan Crisp in the backfield. We'll see if Marino pulls the ball. No, they're going to drop him straight back. He throws left, and it's caught by Blaise McCarty. What a catch by McCarty. And how about the kahunas on Chris Ashman, Cole? Third down and 1, and he's throwing an outcut to Blaise McCarty.
I feel like a little deja vu. I think we had a similar situation last year where the Raiders did a similar situation in third and 1. Yeah. And into a tight window, Dylan delivers it to Blaise, and he's able to pick up the first down.
First down Raiders, McCubbin. Oh, got McCarty wide open. Blaise McCarty makes the catch on the corner route and gives the Raiders a fresh set of downs. A pickup of 19 and a big passing play for the Raiders.
Tremendous job there by Dylan to drop it in the bucket. That corner route, he kind of just put it to a spot, knew Blaise was going to run under it. And Blaise, a great job to finish the play, getting both feet in and taking a hit as well.
What a catch by Blaise McCarty. How about the concentration? He got popped, but he got the feet down, and he gives the Raiders a fresh set of downs. Blaise McCarty playing that new spot, the boundary slot there. He hasn't played it before for the Raiders. He's mostly been the field wideout, but he's showing off those golden set of hands he's got for the Raiders. McCarty is in motion from left to right. Marino in the shotgun, takes a snap, looking right. He's got time. He throws to Celso. Celso makes the catch, makes a man miss, and Jacob Celso, the pit bull, plowing his way close to a first down.
I believe the boys call him Selly. Jacob Celso with the ball in his hand, quite the weapon. I said it earlier, swinging the ball out to him, just getting the ball into his hands is going to pick you up those yards. Looks like 8 yards on first down from Jacob Celso. Looked like it was the double slants. He just kind of killed it and drifted back towards the sideline as the defenders didn't pick him up.
Love the heads-up play there from Jacob Celso. Marino doesn't like the look pre-snap, and he's going to call for a timeout here.
Those are going to be, very crucial here down the stretch. Raiders down to 2 more timeouts. Can't afford to use, any more with 2 in the holster. But Dylan Marino, man, he's been showing his stuff here through 3 quarters.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cole, but in Canada, at least in the CFL, you get 2 timeouts per half?
Yeah, that might be a correction. Apologies, Noah, but it does show 3 on the scoreboard. I do believe you are right, though. I think it is 2 per half. So the Raiders could be possibly down to 1, and with 1 quarter left, a lot of decision-making, maybe substitutions. That could be a crucial one to hang on to.
The Raiders driving here, second down and 3. It'll be interesting to see what the play call from new offensive coordinator Chris Ashman is here. What does he have dialed up for us? The Suns' defensive line has been causing a lot of havoc. I don't know if you can trust the run game to get there for you with a handoff, especially Cooper, man. He's had a tough time in this game. Morgan Crisp is in it running back, Cole, and we'll see if they go to Crisp.
I think the way the Raiders receivers have been getting open, though, you like that match. You like that matchup for sure. So let's see. We got Morgan McCubbin with Glenn Caduya. Press coverage here down on the boundary.
Press coverage, bottom of the screen. McCubbin beats his man. They throw it left, and it's incomplete.
Man, I would have loved to see Dylan kind of go after that matchup. Morgan with a nice release off the line of scrimmage.
Look at Morgan talking his smack to that DB. He said, hey, buddy, if my quarterback looked over here, that was toasted again.
That was true one-on-one. Amigo, mano coverage there. Dylan just didn't like the matchup going to Parker on the quick sit route to his left side, but my goodness, the way Morgan's been playing today and one-on-one in the boundary, press coverage one-on-one in the boundary, I would like to see Dylan go after that matchup, especially the way he's been throwing down the field.
Yeah, Marino's deep ball accuracy is, why is that a loss of down? I don't understand that one. Oh, maybe the Sun declined it, Cole. So they're going to put the Raiders in 3rd down and 3, and the game, I don't want to say it's on the line here, Cole, but this is a huge play forthcoming for the Raiders. They have got to pick this up. 3rd down and 3. Marino in the gun with with the other running back, 25, Morgan Crisp beside him. Snap to Dylan. Oh, and I do not like that play, Cole.
Yeah. I don't love that one at all. I think, way too passive there on 3rd and not even, that wasn't even, I think that was more close to 2.5, 3 yards. And Glenn Kaduya sure learned very quick not to press Morgan McCubbin again there, playing a little bit of off coverage. Maybe a quick, if you're going to pass the ball, a quick slant if he's giving you that cushion. But I don't like that finesse style of play in those 2nd down, in short situations.
3rd down.
Do we have an under center package here where we can get under center a little bit more and maybe start to try to run the ball a little bit on those situations down the hill and kind of not be in the gun?
It raises the question if they have an under center package here. We haven't seen it yet today. Raiders defense needs a stop right now. They fake the handoff. Kruger with all kinds of room out to his left. And Kruger will run for the 1st down and a lot more down the sideline. And he's got a 1st down for the Okanagan Sun. And he got a Raider down. That's Aiden Bytel. He's late getting up. But you felt the momentum of this game shifting, Cole. The Raiders settling for a field goal deep in the red zone territory. And that will bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, put your 4s up, folks. The 4th quarter is here. This game is still within the balance. Sun up by 11. But the Raiders have to respond here on this next drive. Tremendous missed opportunity there on the previous drive for the Raiders. Not able to put any points up on the board, especially when they started to drive and pick up momentum, and they stall on the 3rd down and short.
3rd down and 3, Cole, a run out of the shotgun.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think we saw there on a few previous drives as well, they start to sprinkle in a little bit of the half roll stuff, getting Dylan on the move. I would have maybe liked to see that on 3rd down situation like that, where you're able to kind of, it's almost essentially like an RPO type of pass, right? You give him that run pass option. He likes his weapons down the field. He can go to any of them. If he doesn't, he can kind of tuck the ball and run. Especially the short yardage package is curious to me, especially when you have a Parker Moscript to kind of play that H-back, fullback type role. You have a deep back in. Heck, you could put all 3 in them in Whittingham, Cooper Mann, and Morgan Crisp, who has looked the best, I think, at all 3 of them today.
Yeah, Dylan Marino has been doing a lot of damage with his arm. I'm putting the ball in his hands there, but I'm not the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. I'll tell you this, the run game has not done much today, and I think just running it up the middle there with Morgan Crisp, a risky proposition. You're playing right into the strength of that Okanagan defense that's their front 7, eh, Cole?
Yeah, for sure.
So a long stoppage in the game here as we have got to the end of the 3rd quarter. The Sun looking to take the lead here. This gives us a good opportunity to do some shout-outs and to our sponsors here. This game is brought to you by Harris Mazda right here in Nanaimo. I have a Mazda myself. I just bought a new red CX-5 a couple months ago, and let me tell you, it is the most beautiful car I've ever owned. So shout out to Mazda right here in Nanaimo. If you need a car, Harris Mazda are the people. Shotgun snap to Kroger. He looks. He dumps it short. It's complete to Meikle, and Meikle is still running, and he's tackled by Sterling Henry there. We would also like to thank Mr. Lube Plus Tires. They're located on Comox Road across from Maffeo Sutton Park. Mr. Lube, ready when you are. And United Floors, the total flooring solution for residential and commercial flooring needs. Trust the local flooring experts at United Floors, as well as Velocity Truck Centers Nanaimo, a name you can trust for all your commercial vehicle needs. We thank you for all your contributions to the VI Raiders.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Raiders dealing with some injuries here and doing some shuffling in the secondary. 2 new faces. Caleb Thiessen not in the game. He's down here on the sideline.
Kruger rolling to his left. He's got the comeback route uncovered, and he hits it. And that's the field side wide out. Panamaker makes the catch, and he's got the 1st down.
I believe that's Panavich's first catch of the day. A weapon that the Sun were excited to use here in the offense. Coming with some U Sports experience. Wearing the number 4, formerly of Jordan Falconer, who's transferred to Calgary Colts. I know the Sun have put some high expectations on Panavich to step right in and hopefully fill that number 4 jersey.
So a game that is very reminiscent of the one played here 2 years ago, Cole. The Raiders hanging in there in the first half, getting the lead on the Sun, but the Sun eventually pulling away. We'll see if the Raiders can hang in there. Throw down the left side, and I have no idea how that's not pass interference on the Raiders, but we're not going to complain about that one, Cole.
Uncatchable, I think, is going to be the best way to describe that one. Noah, it looked like it was about 20 yards overthrown there by Liam. I know he's trying to give his guy an opportunity, but on those 50-50 balls, you kind of like to see him put a little bit more air on the ball and kind of truly give his receiver an opportunity. Colton fighting through some of the hand contact there by, I believe, Spencer Rempel, and doing a little bit of jawing post-snap.
Rempel looked like he was bear hugging him there, Cole. But you're right, the ball is uncatchable. No harm, no foul.
We talked about it last year, right, Noah? Like the underthrown balls and the ones that have a little bit more air, they usually tend to draw that pass interference call.
No doubt about it. Second down and long. 5-man rush by the Raiders. Kruger rolling to his right. Throws against the grain. He's driven into the ground by Tanai Wisdom. And the ball's incomplete. Liam Kruger, he's talking to Tanai there. There is a hefty conversation there between Wisdom and Kruger, and it looks like it's going to draw a 15-yard penalty on Liam Kruger. And I don't think Liam Kruger was singing him the Nickelback lyrics, Cole.
No, he was. A great job by Tanai. We've seen Tanai in the past kind of lose his cool in those situations, right, and maybe take a 15-yarder here or there. Tanai doing a good job of keeping his composure, both of them jawing back and forth. But as I said earlier, the referee tends to always get the second guy into the pile, right? So good job by Tanai kind of walking that line, having a little bit of intensity. But Liam, you could tell, pissed off, right? Tanai's been everywhere and getting some pressures. Tanai with the pressure there and driving Liam into the dirt. He definitely had a few words for him, and Liam getting up unhappy.
What a job by Tanai Wisdom, man. He has turned into a leader on this football team and doing a good job trash talking, but not anything inappropriate where you're going to draw a penalty. He's just antagonizing the Okanagan Sun, and they are just leaning right into it. They're just saying inappropriate things to Tanai and getting penalized for it. I love it from Tanai Wisdom.
Knowing Tanai, he's playing his role perfectly, right? And kind of that antagonist, as you said. So, one for the Raiders. They get a stop, but
just give up the single. Just give up the single. Oh. Yeah, so 11-point game, Cole. You give up the single there. 12-point game makes no difference whatsoever. Instead, they'll scrimmage from inside the 5-yard line.
I think that comes down to communication too, right? And preparation in those situations. And I don't think I want to necessarily blame anybody, but conversations that kind of need to be had in that situation. Hey, we're backed up into our own zone. They're punting the football. They're looking to either coffin corner, pin us deep in our own territory. If the ball ends up missing and it rolls into our end zone, let's leave it. Let's give up the single. But one that's kind of been happening in the CFL this year, right? Because of teams being unaware of when the rule changes are happening, it being in 2027 and not being in 2026. Some teams have given up some single points in the CFL still that way with the lack of communication from coach-player.
Yeah, well, you'll give the pass to some of these Americans, Cole, who are in the CFL. They've never watched CFL football before. And what do we have here, Cole? Just a stoppage?
I believe so. It might have been a timeout as well, but
as I was saying, Cole, most of these guys are Canadian. They should know the rules of getting the ball out of the end zone and stuff like that. But nonetheless, the Raiders only down by 11 here. This is still anyone's game, but they need a drive in the worst of ways right here. It looks like there might have been a penalty on the Sun, Cole, because the Raiders are scrimmaging from the 20-yard line. I thought they would have started at their own 5 after the return. Nonetheless, Dylan Marino in the shotgun here, and he needs a drive right now for the Raiders. Jacob Celso, the field receiver at the bottom of your screen. Shotgun snap. Dylan throws and completes, and it's Blaze McCarty who trucks a defender and gets a first down. How about Blaze McCarty? He's come on here in the second half, and he looks good at that boundary slot.
Yeah, that's kind of like the bender route that Justin McInnes has made famous in the CFL over the last few years. It's not really a seam, it's not really a post. It's kind of clear that defender, bend in, the ball is going to be coming, so you got to turn your head and be ready for the football. Blaze and Dylan on the same page. You can see that connections, their work they've been putting in the offseason has been paying off.
Blaze McCarty with 3 big catches in the second half here. He is settling into that role, the boundary slot. Dylan shotgun, middle of the field, takes a snap, looking. There's pressure, Dylan's in trouble. He gets out of there, still moving, and got to throw this one away. He does, and it's probably going to be an intentional grounding as there was no receiver in the area, but the ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage, and I don't think he was outside the pocket, Cole, but thankfully for the Raiders here, the referees are keeping the flag in their back pocket.
Yeah, that's a missed one, I would imagine. I'm curious to see if it's going to be thrown later, if there's a conversation to be had. He was in the grasp of the defender and just chucked the football away. So that's a missed call, 100%. That should have been intentional grounding.
I think he had all 3 there, Cole. No receiver in the area, still in the pocket, and the ball didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. I have no idea how that one wasn't called, but hey, we're Raider fans, so we'll take it. 2nd down and 15. Shotgun snap to Marino. He looks. He's in trouble. He's running up the middle. He tries to flip it ahead to Whittingham, and it's incomplete. There's a late hit on Whittingham.
I think, honestly, no, that would have been close to
and there is a penalty late. We'll have to see who this is on.
I'm curious to see the replay if that was close to a fumble. Maybe the tuck rule coming into play, an empty palm.
I think he tried to flip it forward to Whittingham here, Cole. Watch this. Oh, you know what, Cole?
It's close.
Good call. That is much closer than I thought.
He had the idea of trying to flip it to Whittingham. I'm not too sure if he was able to get there, but regardless, it wasn't called. I believe it was blown dead, and there's a penalty on the field.
This is a big one.
And you could see Dylan showing off his toughness, right? He's limping back over to the sideline, talking to Coach Arabsky, and he's been taking some hits and keeps on ticking.
It's an illegal forward pass on the Raiders' goal. I guess he was past the line of scrimmage and.
So they missed the roughing the passer, but they're going to call a ticky-tack.
Well, you know what? I'm not complaining. This is still better. We'll never forget that debacle between the Raiders and West Shore from a year ago. That was the worst refereeing I've ever seen in my entire life. And here's the punt by the Raiders. And it hits a Raiders player. That'll be a penalty. And the return coming the left side here. And the Raiders are going to have to make a tackle, and they do. So 28-17 with 11 minutes and change to go in the game here, Cole. And the Raiders defense, they're going to be put to the challenge again. While the referees try and sort this one out, we're just going to send it to a quick commercial break here. We'll be back in 1 second here. You're watching VI Raiders football on TELUS.
Making memories, making your way to the game.
I meant right. Wait, where are we?
Or making the most of your weekend. Mr. Lube Plus Tires, celebrating 50 years. Proudly Canadian.
All right, we need a shift in momentum here, fans.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
In second and about 1.5. So one for the Raiders defense. At the very least, you want to get off the field, but try to create a negative here and push them out of field goal range if they are. They're probably on the fringe.
33-yard line of the Raiders for the Okanagan Sun. Shotgun Kruger. He's going to give it to Jackson Allen, and Allen gets the first down, carrying Raiders defenders. He's still going inside the 25 and down to the 24. Cole, I'll tell you this. So we can kind of sense the game has shifted, but the Raiders, it was a good-looking first half. You know, if you're trying to draw positives, I don't want to, say the game's over, Cole. If the Sun get another touchdown here, it's going to be tough for the Raiders. But the Raiders, this is a way better showing than they had up in Okanagan a year ago.
It is, but I think Coach Rapsky's not looking for any moral victories anymore as well, right? I talked about it earlier of the standard changing a little bit, and yeah, they're happy to be in these games, but they want to be winning these games, especially against the Sun. So, one, they got to hold on here and try to get a stop, if not a turnover.
Kruger rolling to his left. He's going to the corner, and it's incomplete. Great coverage on the play by Sterling Henry.
I believe that was Keegan.
Oh, I think you're right, Cole. Keegan Barandak?
Yeah, it is. Keegan coming in for Caleb Thiessen having to play half. That was actually pretty good coverage by Keegan.
Tremendous coverage by Keegan Barandak.
Yeah, good job by Keegan. It looks like the corner route by Panabaker. Keegan in his back hip.
What a job by Keegan.
He's fired up, too, to come in as a depth player as well, right? To be ready for that spot, to be ready to be thrown in that fire almost, right?
And not only did he break the pass up, but Panabaker is down on the field.
So good job by Keegan. As I said, the Raiders having two new faces and how they started the game. Joey Foote going down, now Caleb Thiessen. They have been familiar. Aiden Bytel has been taking a lot of reps at safety with Joey Foote playing two ways, so not too much of a difference or transition for AB, but the two guys that have been on the field side, and Dylan and Keegan, are two fresh faces that haven't taken too many reps. Dylan has a little bit as the dime safety or dime DB, but Keegan's been more of a depth player the last 2 years.
By the looks of that coverage by Keegan Barandrack, we might want to see a little bit more of him. He was in the hip pocket of the receiver there. Tremendous coverage by Keegan. A second down and long for the Sun. Raiders have got to get off the field here. They show blitz, they back out of it. Four-man rush by the Raiders. Kruger down the middle. And it's dropped by Mosey.
There's 100% of holding on Tanai Wisdom, and there's probably should have been a few this game, but my goodness, Tanai just got mugged. I think, though, if you do think about it from the Sun perspective and you're the offensive lineman, you're going to give up a sack. That's probably what you want to do in that situation and maybe take the hold, but I believe it was the interior offensive lineman, the right guard, as I talked about with the Raiders' game plan, wanting Tanai to come from depth. That puts a ton of stress on the guards that just, compared to the tackles who are a little bit more athletic, right? You're getting a matchup of Tanai Wisdom, who's one of the more athletic players in not only the team but the conference, against an interior offensive lineman. He's winning a lot of these matchups.
So you'd expect a field goal attempt is coming here, Cole, and this is going to be about 31, 32 yards. So will the Raiders put a returner back there? They're going to put Cooper, Mann, and Celso back there to return this kick and try and get it out of the end zone if Grady Hay misses. But if the Wiz is right on his assessment of Grady Hay, this ball should be going through the uprights. Grady Hay's got the ball up, and it is through. And the Okanagan Sun have taken a 31-17 lead over the VI Raiders. But again, Cole, still just a 14-point game, still just 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's not death for the VI Raiders, but it's darn near close. This is one where you need to put up points here on this next drive. Field goals do give you life, but you're looking for touchdowns. You want touchdowns here to try to cut back into this lead and really throw your counterpunch back to the Okanagan Sun, who have controlled a lot of the second half.
No doubt about it. Here we go, Cole. The Raiders are just going to take the football at the 35. It's that cool rule of Canadian football. After a field goal, you can elect to just take the ball at the 35-yard line, and that's exactly what the Raiders are going to do. And boy, do they need a drive in the worst of ways here, Cole.
9:19 to go, so CFL terms, a ton of time left, right? Opportunity for them to get multiple stops, an opportunity for them to possess the ball multiple times. But they got to take advantage, and they got to produce here on the field on this next drive.
First down at the 35. Dylan Marino still in the game at quarterback. He's played well today. He's had a little bit of letdowns from his receiving core, and they haven't gotten much out of the running game. McCubbin motions down the line. He's coming across on that shallow cross. Dylan rolling to his right, floats it downfield, and incomplete, intended for Gavin Whittingham.
Yeah, it was kind of almost in the middle of both receivers. Gavin kind of turning, he got to the sideline, and I believe turned up, or maybe it was a true wheel, but it looked like just a swing. He got to the sideline, started to turn it up the sideline, but it looked like Morgan McCubbin coming on the over. It was kind of like almost between the two of them. As the Sun do have a player down, I do believe that's, I don't have a number.
Looks like a big fella there, maybe a defensive lineman. This injury looks pretty serious. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching VI Raider football presented by TELUS.
Come out to the VI Raiders home games this season and take your shot in the world-famous Velocity Truck Centers football toss with awesome prizes up for grabs. Velocity Truck Centers in Nanaimo and the VI Raiders are proud community partners because strong teams are built on shared values, teamwork, dependability, and a commitment to excellence. Drop by the Velocity Nanaimo dealership for new and used trucks, plus service and parts for all heavy-duty makes. And when you stop in, tell them the VI Raiders sent you.
So the injured player makes his way to the sideline very gingerly there for the Okanagan Sun, Cole. And I'll tell you what, this is a enormous second down and 10 for the Raiders. They do not want to give the ball back to the Okanagan Sun. Dylan in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the field at the top of your screen. McCubbin motions down the line. Dylan looking, corner route. McCubbin way down there. Oh, and it's got to be pass interference. Oh, my goodness. No call by the referee. A perfect throw by Marino, and it went right through the hands of McCubbin, but I thought he was interfered with there, Cole.
Yeah, I want to see a replay for sure. There was a little bit of contact. I thought, tough one for Morgan because he's had a fantastic day. I thought he should have caught it. Let's see if we get a bang-bang play if there was some contact early.
What a throw by Marino. Look at this ball placement.
I don't know. We didn't get a great angle on the replay, unfortunately, just due to following the ball. I'd be curious to see on second watch how close that was. It was close, but it's a bummer because I did think Morgan could have came down with that one.
No doubt about it. It hit him between the number, but good coverage on the play there. And here's the punt, and it's not a good-looking one. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty. He dropped the ball. The Raiders are on it, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to be a 15-yard, no yards goal.
So we're going to await the flag on the field.
Sun sending their offense out there immediately. They know what the penalty is.
No yards on the Raiders, in fact. And the defense looks to be coming on the field.
And another short punt by this punter for the VI Raiders, Cole.
The Raiders defense now, it's kind of getting to that territory where they're going to need the turnover here to not only keep the Sun off the scoreboard, but create a little bit of a spark for themselves. They've been in a lull here in the second half, and they need to find a way to take back hold of momentum.
First down, Sun. Shotgun snap, Kruger throws the out cut to the right. It's complete. Mosey, and he takes it ahead for a gain of about 5. Second down and 5 coming. The Raiders have got to find a way to get off the field right now. Cole, what have you seen from Liam Kruger today?
Yeah, Liam's not played his best. I think he would tell you that himself, and not played up to standard. But that being said, 31 points on the board for the Sun. Their offense has done enough today and looking for more. So Liam's going to look to finish the game strong for sure.
Second down and 5. Here comes the blitz up the middle by the Raiders. They run it with Allen, and he's stacked up there by the Raiders, and they push him backwards. We've got penalty flags, and we're going to see who this is going to be on. Wisdom is talking to the referee, and he doesn't look happy. We just were complimenting Tanai on how good he's been at drawing some of these penalties, but let's see what the call is here by the referee.
I think it's, for star pass rushers, you tend to feel a lot of the time like you're getting held, the referees are missing holds, so I think that's one for tonight. He's been frustrated all game, right, wanting to get to the passer and affect the game.
It's an illegal hands to the face. Looks like the call there to me, Cole. So an interesting one there. It would have been 3rd down and 4 for the Sun. Instead, it gives them a fresh set of downs. So it's a tough one. You wish the referee would just let the players decide the outcome and keep the hands in the back pocket. But if the hands were to the face, the hands were to the face. So first down at the 20-yard line. Kruger will hand off the left side. Jackson Allen running around the corner. Looks like there's a holding call coming on the Sun as Allen is in for the touchdown, but I expect there will be a holding call.
Raiders penalties up to 11 taken for 70 yards in the game. Second half, excuse me. Adding that total up to 20 for nearly 200 yards of penalties, just unacceptable, and one that I know Sean's going to be ticked off.
Very unfortunate. The penalties hurting the Raiders in this game, and I'm sure that'll be a conversation Sean Arabsky will have with his football team next week. Discipline against a team like the Okanagan Sun, so crucial.
Lucky lady, right over here. Congratulations.
Ty Teal, you see him there, Cole. His shoulder is being iced up. He is out of this game and potentially maybe out for the foreseeable future. But I'll tell you what, Cole, the left tackle that replaced him has done a pretty good job today. They haven't sacked Dylan Marino that much. Here's the short yardage quarterback, and he's taken down for no gain there. They were going back to the well with Marcus Christos, the specialist there, taking it off the left side. No gain for the Sun. So second down and goal at the 5. And if there was ever a time for the VI Raiders to force a turnover, this is it right here.
Yeah, you mentioned the offensive line. 3 new faces right now for the offensive line for the VI Raiders, and they've, I think, performed pretty well considering, especially with the Sun and one of the more talented defensive lines. They're doing a good job keeping Dylan upright and clean for the most part, but
his wheels definitely help as well.
Yeah.
Here's the run off the right side with Allen, and he is in for the touchdown, and that may be the nail in the coffin for the Okanagan Sun.
It's going to make it 37-17, pending the extra point.
Disappointing for the Raiders, Cole. They were right there at halftime, and it just felt like it slept away from them in the second half.
Yeah, tale of two halves, and the Okanagan Sun showing why they're the Okanagan Sun and flexing their muscles, right? They have the proven track record of showing that they can turn things around, make their adjustments, and showing why they're the class of the conference.
So here's Grady Hay in to attempt his 5th extra point of the game, and it is good. And the Okanagan Sun have taken a 38-17 lead over the VI Raiders.
And I said it earlier, I think we saw it a couple times with Okie playing West Shore, where West Shore last year would battle them very tough for a first half, and Okie would kind of pull away and flex their muscles in the second half and the final score would not indicate, I think, kind of the matchup that it was. Similar to this one, but in the second half, I think it's fair to say that the Sun have really outclassed the Raiders here, and the Raiders, this is the games that you need to find a way to win, especially come playoff time where, you might see them in a playoff matchup, and it's close for a quarter or two. You got to build on that and find ways to, win this football game or at least keep things closer for longer.
Yeah. The Raiders, we'll see if they can put some points on the board here late in the late in the game here. Grady Hay set to kick off. A 4-score lead for the Okanagan Sun. 3-score lead for the Okanagan Sun. Here's Hay putting his foot into it. Whittingham from the 20. And he takes it ahead, breaks a couple tackles, and gets out to the 38-yard line.
Game's not over, so it'd be nice to see the Raiders offense put together some sort of drive here, put some points back on the scoreboard, make this final score a little bit more respectable, but the Sun have the comfortable lead, and with 5:55 to go, you want to try to end this one as positively as possible.
First down Raiders, Dylan Marino shotgun, Blaze McCarty, boundary slot, bottom of the screen, Morgan McCubbin, the wide out to the bottom of your screen. They are going to throw a wide receiver screen out there to McCubbin, and he stiff arms the defender and gets thrown out of bounds after a gain of about 4. Now, Cole, you don't often see that call, the offensive face mask. I was thinking that could have been it right there.
I'm glad you saw it as well, because I could see it up here as well, but maybe the referee didn't have a good vantage point, because, Morgan on a stiff arming attempt did, I think, grab a little bit of the face mask. Glenn Kadue doing a good job of wrapping up and not letting Morgan go, driving him out of bounds for a short gain.
Second down and 6. Marino is in the shotgun. 5 receivers out in the pattern. They're going to give it. And running for a first down are the Raiders. Again, it's the guy who's been the most effective today, Morgan Crisp. Anytime the Raiders have had success running the ball, Crisp has been the ball carrier.
He has indeed.
So 2 high-prized gets in the offseason, Cole. Cooper Mann and Gavin Whittingham. I mean, it's been 1 yard or 2 yards pretty much every time they touch the ball. We hope to see more from them. Again, this is a really good front seven of the Okanagan Sun. It's tough to run the ball, but it's been interesting to see Morgan Crisp being the guy that has success on the ground. First down for the Raiders. Marino shotgun. Snap to Dillon. He looks right, throws the out. It's bobbled and caught by Cooper Mann. He falls to the ground and loses 2 yards. Mann just hasn't looked natural out there at receiver, Cole. The corner out in the end zone. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I know they were excited to kind of use him as a Swiss Army knife type of weapon in the offense. When you have, 3 backs in the stable. But, yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think Cooper has not looked as natural as I think they'd hope. But I think it's one that they're going to want to continue to weaponize Cooper and try to get in the ball in different ways and to create bigger plays from stuff like that.
Marino rolling to his left, throws the outcut to Blaze McCarty, and it's incomplete. And the Raiders look like they're going to punt this football with 3 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the game. Yeah,
just unfortunately just too deep in their territory and not able to muster any yardage there to even make Coach Rabsky think about a decision to go for it there. So punting unit onto the field, and the Sun look to return and go for more.
Zach Suter in to punt it, and he stands at around his 33-yard line and awaits the snap from Max Shipham. There's the snap. And again, a short punt. Picked up by the Sun there, and he goes down immediately wisely. And let's see, is it Kruger or is it the backup quarterback?
It's Liam.
It is Liam coming out. He's going to finish up the game with 3 minutes to go. Interesting decision there, Cole. 3 minutes in the game, up 3 scores. Sometimes you don't like to take the chance on your starter getting hurt late in the game, but they are going to bring Kruger out.
Yeah, I think kind of funny you say that, because I do know that maybe BCFC fans or Wiz, if he's watching, I do believe that the Sun did keep Kruger in the game last year versus the Broncos up big. So I think the Sun tend to try to like to keep their starters in the game.
Pedal to the metal. Nothing new for the Okanagan Sun. Kruger straight back, deep, down the left side. And it is dropped.
Mosey again.
He's had a couple drops deep down the field.
He's had the one big touchdown, but I think he'd tell you himself he's had a disappointing afternoon. Billed as one of the biggest recruits in not only the conference, in the country. Coming from pretty high-level college football down south. And he's had 2 drops down the sideline that would have been big plays. And if he caught that one, he might have kept running.
I got to tell you, Cole, Kruger throws a really nice deep ball.
Yeah, he does.
2nd down and 10 from the 37-yard line. Kruger straight back in the pocket, chased by Wisdom, gets outside. He outruns Ayer, and Ayer's able to pull him out of bounds at the 50-yard line, but he is close to that first down. I think he's got it, Cole.
Yeah, I think if you're the Okanagan Sun here, you don't want to give the Raiders back the ball. If you can close this game out holding on to the football, you put a nice bow onto this one, especially your second half, the way they finished. They flexed their muscles and shown why they are clearly at the top of the conference.
The Sun leaving no doubt in this one. They will probably leave with a victory here, and they have shown the country we're not going anywhere. All this talk about the VI Raiders on the rise, not quite so fast. We are still the juggernaut in this conference, but a good showing by the Raiders in the first half to make this a close football game. They took the lead early in the second half, but the Sun eventually pulling away, and there's the pass on first down. It's complete to number 15. That's Liam Gagne who makes the catch.
And I mentioned at halftime of, the message to both teams in the locker room. For Coach Miller, we're up here and we're thinking maybe he's going to be in there and freaking out and flipping tables. And maybe he was, but I would imagine it was a very composed message of, hey, we've been in these type of football games before. We've come out on top. For the Raiders, I think they're still trying to figure out that composure and that message, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cole, but I think the West Shore Rebels had a 4-score lead on the Sun last year, as here's a pass on the corner ball that is pulled in nicely. Is that Mosey?
It is Mosey.
But yeah, Trunk, let's go back to our thing here, Cole. The West Shore Rebels had a 4-touchdown lead last year on the Okanagan Sun down in Victoria, and the Sun were able to go back in that one and win the game. So this is not uncharted waters for the Sun.
No, not at all. As you said there, Noah, 4-touchdown lead West Shore had over the Sun. If I remember correctly, the Sun ended up coming back to win a thriller, 44-40. And they've just been in these situations. You think about the CJFL National semifinal last year where they were trailing, and they come out like gangbusters in the second half to storm back and take the lead and win.
Kruger, straight back, stepping up, shallow cross, wide open. And he is going to run all the way inside the 5-yard line. That's Pannenbecker.
Yeah, Pannenbecker was looking for the pylon. He dove for it, but I think the referee's marking his foot out of bounds. So this is one for the Raiders defense. You're wanting to hold and keep them out of the end zone for as long as possible. And the Sun, looking for the 40 spot.
Sun looking for the knockout blow. Down and around the 5-yard line. Kruger still in there at quarterback. And maybe just looking to pad those stats here. They'll give it to Allen off the left side, and he's swarmed by the Raiders there. Kruger walks towards the sideline and awaits the call from his coordinator. It looks like he's going to go off here, potentially. And that will bring out the short yardage quarterback. Here comes Christos. Looking for one more. We got a Raider down on the field. I think that's Colton Finstad. He's being helped up by his teammates there. Trainers in there to check on him. Any word about scores around the league, Cole?
Yeah, we do actually have a few one final score in a game just getting underway. The one up in Kamloops between the Langley Rams just kicking off at 6 o'clock Pacific time, so I'd encourage anybody that maybe did dabble and buy the BCFC season pass to head over there and check out that game. If you haven't, maybe check out and tune in. But there is a final score down in Langford between the West Shore Rebels and Valley Huskers, with the West Shore Rebels winning 27-1 over the Valley Huskers. West Shore Rebels kind of handling business to what they expected. And the Valley Huskers probably a little bit of a disappointing start to start their year. I know they wanted to start a little bit better after last year missing the playoffs, and looks like Allen's in for the late garbage time touchdown to add, I think, his third touchdown now in the game.
Yep, padding the stats there. Rogan Vergata, Cole, was he playing quarterback for the Huskers today?
Forgive me, no, I don't know actually who did get the start, but the
Huskers pretty highly touted out of Winnipeg.
Yeah, he did, but the Sun also going through a little bit of a transition with losing a few big-time major pieces on the team and in the roster, most notably with Jawad Harb up there for one of the best running backs in the conference last season.
Calverley left as well.
Calverley left to Langley. I'd keep an eye on him with Overstreet, but also Raiden Masson moving on to the University of York, and I think he was one of the better linebackers last year in the conference and for the last few years.
No doubt about it. The Huskers are going to have a tough time this year. Again, I'm not a betting man, Cole, but if I was, I think I see Langley as that team that's going to surprise people and sneak into the playoffs this year. Talk about Overstreet for a second. He is a good-looking quarterback.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see him live in a game setting quite yet, but from what I was able to see at BC Lions E-Camp a few months ago, I think I would comfortably say he's going to be the best quarterback in the conference this year. And how far can he will the Langley Rams, I think, is the question. I think that team's still young and up-and-coming and maybe, a year away, some people like to say, but Overstreet and the ceiling that he brings, I think, is very dangerous.
No doubt about it. He decommitted from the program when they let their head coach go, but when they brought I guess they were able to convince him to come back. Well, it's an interesting kind of way it worked out there for the Langley Rams. But Overstreet, he was the preseason pick to be the all-star quarterback in this conference. But Liam Kroger, he's not going to give that up without a fight. He looked good today. Here's Whittingham on the return. He's taken down to the 29-yard line. And so one more drive here for Dylan Marino to hopefully put some points on the board. And we'll see what the Raiders offense can do. They had a really good first half, but in the second half, the Okanagan Sun flexing their muscles and showing why they are the reigning BCFC national champions.
Yep, and the Raiders will hit the road for a long road trip up to Prince George next week, but they will be back home in 2 weeks to take on their island rival in the West Shore Rebels, and that was set up for a huge Week 3 game in the conference and for second place in the conference.
The Raiders hopefully sitting at 1-1 if they're able to beat the Kodiaks next week. The Kodiaks, Cole, holy smokes, did they go through hell and back in the offseason after the firing of Jamie Borum, the unexpected firing of Jamie Borum.
Yeah, very unexpected. The reigning BCFC Coach of the Year let go. How many times do you see that headline? I think a lot of people probably, what did I just see? The Prince George Kodiaks let go of Jamie Borum?
I thought it was a joke when I read it. I thought it was April Fool's.
Especially after everything he's built, right? The only coach that they've known up there in Prince George since the program came into existence, leading them into their first ever playoff game last year and winning the Coach of the Year, and he's not brought back. It's definitely one it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. I know Ryan Bellamy up in Prince George, they have a lot of confidence in him, and was speaking with him in the offseason. I think he's going to build some strong things, but how fast can he do it, I think, is going to be the question.
I wish him the best, Cole. He's been put in a really tough spot by whoever made that decision to get rid of Jamie Borum. A lot of players decommitted from Prince George. A lot of players left Prince George. It looked like Jamie Borum was building something special there. And just very interesting decision to let Jamie Borum walk. A guy who was a former Winnipeg Blue Bomber punter in a Grey Cup. I watched him when I was a kid growing up as a Blue Bomber fan. So the batted down ball on first down leaves the Raiders with a 2nd down and 10. Quads to the bottom of your screen. Marino straight back to throw. Deep down the right side for McCubbin, and it's intercepted. And it's going to be run back down the left sideline there and out of bounds. And that will put a bow on this game, Cole. It is over. And the Okanagan Sun are going to go to 1-0. The Raiders will fall to 0-1. And a big week coming up against the Prince George Kodiaks. You don't want to call it a must-win this early in the season, but you can't be losing to teams like Prince George. They got to get it done next week.
Yeah, Ty Walker with the interception there for the Okanagan Sun. Was actually named to our Canadian Football Fanatics and Wizard Takes preseason all-star team. I think this not only the Sun, but outside expectation for Ty this year is to kind of take that next step and turn into one of the more, talented players in the conference and an all-star caliber player. He's able to get on the board with his first interception of the season. And one for Dylan that, flush it, let it go. It's kind of one of those late garbage time interceptions. You're trying to get something for your team, and I've honestly liked what I've seen here from Dylan in the offense, but you got to execute a little bit better and got to find a way to score some more points, because 17's nice, but essentially got 3 points in the second half after only having scoring 14 in the first half.
It's 17 more than they were able to score last year against Okanagan. So the offense showing flashes in the first half, but they are going to have to find a way to replace Joey Foote, Cole, if he's going to be out for an extended period of time. That was one of the biggest gets for the Raiders in the offseason. I don't know how you fill those shoes on short notice. Here's Kruger straight back to throw over the middle, and the catch is made and brought down 2 yards short of the first down. It'll be a 3rd down and 2. And knowing the Okanagan Sun, you probably expected them to go for this on 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, you mentioned the replacement of a Joey Foote. Obviously, early indications he's going to miss some time. How much time does he miss, I think, is one thing. But for me, I think offensively they're going to probably struggle maybe a little bit more in terms of finding that replacement. Defensively, I think, depending how serious the Caleb Thiessen injury is, shouldn't be too much of a transition. AB going back to that safety position, he's comfortable there. But we'll see about the rest of the secondary.
Pass complete to Colton Meikle, and he's down to the 25-yard line. The Sun, 3rd down and 2, a minute to go. We'll just throw a seam to Colton Meikle. Which weapon do you want to use? They got Mosey, they got
Panabaker. It's funny because I mentioned earlier about, number 9 as well, Chad Alexander, Panabaker, Mosey. Oh, I forgot. Colton Meikle, who's been at the BC Lions training camp for the last 3 seasons, not only at training camp, playing in preseason games as well. So they have a plethora of talented weapons, and they're not afraid to use them.
The Okanagan Sun have a plethora of riches to choose from. They have so many weapons. Their front 7 is impressive. Kruger takes a knee, and the Sun will finally say that enough is enough. We're just going to end this football game. So the clock winds down to 0. There must be one final play in Canada. And the Okanagan Sun have won this football game. They win it 45-17 over the VI Raiders. A valiant effort in the first half by the Raiders, Cole. They played very well. Loved the resilience. They fell behind 14-0 in the first quarter. They stormed back. They did not give up. They made it 14-all. They took the lead in the second half, 17-14 with a field goal. But eventually, the Okanagan Sun are the Okanagan Sun, and they flexed their muscles and showed why they are the reigning BCFC champs.
They are indeed. I said, at halftime, what would be the message to both groups? I think post-game, what is going to be the message to this VI Raiders team? I know Sean will take a measured approach and have a ton of composure, but, I talked about the moral victories, and I think Sean will lean into that, but do not panic. Do not kind of, think that the world is ending here because you lost week 1 to the Okanagan Sun. I think you proved that you can hang with this team, right, early on in the first half, and kind of building on it from there and playing more of a complete game, I think, is what you want to do and what you want to see from the Raiders here moving forward.
The handshake at midfield between Arabsky and Coach Miller. No moral victories for the Raiders. They are expected to be at the top of the BCFC this year, right there with the Okanagan Sun. They were right there in the first half. But Cole, let's do game balls here. We'll do game balls for the Sun, game balls for the Raiders. We'll start with the Raiders. Game ball on offense for you, my friend.
Yeah, I think it's got to go to Dylan Marino making his VI Raiders debut. You could argue Morgan McCummon. I think Blaise McCarty had a pretty big impact on the game as well. Morgan Crisp, I think, was in the running as well. But I was very impressed with what I saw from Marino here today, and I think the Raiders found that they kind of hit that stopgap last year when you have a Sadler Smith in 24, and how much that kind of can take a team, or how far that can take a team when you have a quarterback. I think that the Raiders have found their guy, and hopefully they can build on what Dylan was able to perform on the field today.
Defensively, Cole, I think I know where you're going with this one for the Raiders.
Yeah, I think a few guys performed. I think Tanai obviously was up to Tanai's standard and being just creating a ton of havoc in the backfield. But for me, I think I'm going to go with Aiden Bytel, a guy that, similar to Ty Walker, put on a preseason all-star team, have a ton of confidence in AB moving forward. He was all over the field. I'd be shocked to know if he wasn't the leading tackler. Maybe not even on the Raiders, but on both teams here today. So I'll give it to Dylan and AB. For the Raiders,
Talk about the Sun. You got any game balls for the Sun? I would have gone with the exact same guys for the Raiders, by the way.
Yeah, so I think for the Sun, you probably got to give it to Jackson Allen, who, the past game of the Okanagan Sun maybe didn't have their best occasion here today. You look at Liam Kruger, who didn't look up to snuff. I think you saw a few of the drops from Mosey, who we had high expectations for. So I think Jackson Allen was the guy that kind of came in, impressed. I think he had 3 touchdowns, and it was one of the more quieter 3 touchdown games I think you could ever ask for, right? I think the first half from him was decent. He had 11 for 57 and 1 touchdown at the half. I believe he finished the second half with 2 touchdowns, probably around the same 50-ish yards rushing. So maybe eclipsed that century mark, but not too much more. And then the touchdowns, I think that were just the exclamation point on his performance. So I'll give it to Jackson Allen. And then on defense, hard to really give one, but I think I will just continue to lean on the guys that I was high on coming into the year, and I'll give it to Ty Walker with the late interception there. He's also kind of transitioning, a guy that played both ways for the Sun last year, played as that kind of Travis Hunter type guy, playing receiver, playing DB. He's moving into that boundary halfback position. He was playing a little bit of the corner spot last year, and I think the Sun have a ton of expectations for him to really take over that role this season.
Absolutely. That is all she wrote from the Q Stadium here in beautiful British Columbia. We thank you for tuning in and joining us wherever you might be across this beautiful country of Canada. I'm Noah Atnikov. For my color commentator, Cole McGarvey, we are signing off. Good night, everybody.